Chapter 370. The scene within the Vermilion Bird Formation also shocked the spectators. The silhouette atop the gigantic boulder on the mountain peak stared disdainfully at the numerous experts. Who else in the world would have the courage to do such a thing? In the air, the experts from the various transcendent powers were seriously scrutinizing Qin Wentian. Up till now, this young man's performance wasn't in any way inferior to Chen Wang, Sherpatian, and the others. His eyes gleamed with a demonic light, and his entire body was enveloped in demonic qi. Old man Tianji's countenance sharpened as he stared at Qin Wentian. He had been observing the fate of Grand Xia and saw that the demonic star had risen up in the past few years. Now, it had already arrived at Ginkgo and was even here to participate in the ranking battle. He had always been paying attention to who would be the demonic star. At this moment, it seemed that Qin Wentian was the most suitable candidate. Could he be the demonic star that could change the fate of Grand Xia? At this moment, Qin Wentian's summoned demonic beasts once again soared into the air, as though the astral energy within them hadn't been depleted yet. As for Qin Wentian himself, he sat cross-legged atop the gigantic boulder, as though everything happening in the outside world had nothing to do with him. He didn't forget to cultivate even when he was seizing the ancient luck. The battles within the Vermilion Bird Formation grew more and more intense, but the number of collisions gradually decreased. Only when there were less than 360 participants did the crowd realize that the ranking battle this time around was different from the past. Indeed, the fate of Grand Xia is changing. Old man Tianji sighed, his words causing the eyes of those beside him to stiffen. It's really changing. How many participants will the Vermilion Bird Formation select this time around? An expert from the Great Solar Chen clan calmly commented. If the fate of Grand Xia were to change, and the number of participants chosen by the Vermilion Bird Formation decreased, it would mean that the ancient luck of the remaining participants would be stronger and stronger. As time passed, the number of participants would increase, and the ancient luck of the remaining participants would all be absorbed by the remaining participants. Look over there, Chen Wang actually used his ancient luck to split open a part of the Vermilion Bird Formation. Even the skies were dyed red. At this moment, the gazes of the crowd were focused on a certain location, the location where Chen Wang was located. Below him, the earth had split apart as lava gushed out, as though a volcano had just erupted. Over there was even a stairway leading to the lava. Chen Wang's eyes gleamed with sharpness, incomparably agitated. At the same time he was seizing the ancient luck, he was also searching for Fan Lu and Ouyang Guangsheng. However, he didn't manage to find them. He stepped forward and walked down the stairs that led to the magma underground. Chen Wang's figure disappeared from everyone's line of sight. There was magma beneath the cracked ground, but only Chen Wang knew what was inside. The members of the Great Solar Chen clan all had excited looks on their faces. As expected of the Great Solar Chen king, his ancient luck had finally appeared. As time continued to pass, the number of people remaining in the Vermilion Bird Formation became fewer and fewer. Furthermore, those who were able to remain were constantly becoming stronger and stronger. Ouyang Guangsheng had also comprehended a second-level mandate, becoming an existence that could stand shoulder to shoulder with Ouyang Zheng. This scene caused the members of the Ouyang aristocrat clan to be filled with joy. Although Duan Qingshan's death caused them to be extremely depressed, Ouyang Guangsheng's status in the Ouyang aristocrat clan was even higher. Now that he had successfully surpassed Duan Qingshan, taking over his position as a heaven's chosen, Ouyang Guangsheng's status would only grow higher and higher. When Ouyang Ting saw this scene, her face turned pale. Everything that had happened was like a dream. The enemy who killed Duan Qingshan, Qin Wentian, grew stronger and stronger. And now, Ouyang Guangsheng had also reached the same level. This made Ouyang Ting understand that her plan of using the Ouyang aristocrat clan to avenge Duan Qingshan was completely hopeless. With Ouyang Guangsheng's current status, how could she still dare to touch his friends? Now, she could only hope that Qin Wentian would die in the heavenly fate rankings, in the hands of Chen Wang. Shirpatian has also found his ancient luck. He used it to open up a passageway to a mountain range and entered it. The hearts of the spectators trembled as they witnessed the scene within the Vermilion Bird Formation. What exactly would happen in the Vermilion Bird Formation this time around? Si Qiong, the same as Chen Wang and Shirpatian, was the third to find his own ancient luck. It was as though, as long as enough ancient luck was gathered, the Vermilion Bird spirit would be born and lead them to the ancient luck that belonged to them. The number of participants in the Vermilion Bird Formation grew fewer and fewer than 100. The remaining participants all had terrifying amounts of ancient luck, and the Vermilion Bird behind them seemed to have come to life. Those who had been eliminated froze when they saw the situation within the Vermilion Bird Formation. They couldn't help but lament in their hearts that they had missed out on such a rare opportunity. Zhan Chen is truly powerful. He has always been low profile, but now, he has finally found the ancient luck that belongs to him. The shock in the hearts of the spectators was indescribable. How could there be so much ancient luck this time around? This was something that had never happened before, and it had actually happened in the Heavenly Fate rankings. After that, it was Emperor Azure and Qin Zheng. And after that, it was Yun Mengyi and Mu Feng. Si Qiong, Qin Zheng and Yun Mengyi were undoubtedly the dark horses of the Vermilion Bird Formation. Eight of them have already found their ancient luck. From this point onwards, it seems like we'll be able to see the strength of the remaining participants. These 8 might very well be the strongest. But of course, there are still a few other variables. Qin Wentian, Wang Ju, Hua Shaoqing and Yan Cheng. This batch of participants should be contending for the top 10 positions in the Heavenly Fate rankings this time around. Yao Jun had already chosen to retreat when facing off against Qin Wentian, and he didn't have the qualifications to be ranked within the top 10. At this moment, Qin Wentian had also gathered a large amount of ancient luck. Under the effects of the astral war beasts, the purgatory Vermilion Bird behind him had already completely solidified. 9 vertical lines could be seen on its forehead, exuding a terrifying aura. Not only that, this purgatory Vermilion Bird exuded a terrifying aura at the 9th level of Yuanfu. Qin Wentian could faintly sense that his ancient luck was already saturated. There was no need for him to continue seizing ancient luck. His eyes were still closed as he sunk into a deep slumber. This time around, he had been in a deep slumber for a very long time. In his dreams, he could see many scenes, and he was seriously immersed in his own dreams. Back then, he had coincidentally met the green-robed middle-aged man. His dreams were filled with life, and it was as though everything was real. Who knew if he was awake or dreaming? The distance between heaven and earth, a single thought. Illusory and real, a single thought. True and false, a single thought. A light breeze brushed past Qin Wentian's robes, causing him to feel a sense of coolness. The astral war beast was squatting quietly beneath his feet. As long as the astral energy wasn't exhausted, the summoned astral war beast wouldn't vanish. Back then, during the crisis in Sky Harmony City, Uncle Black had given him an item that could summon a primordial ape at the most crucial moment. Now, Qin Wentian naturally understood that this primordial ape was none other than a sealed astral war beast. It was a life-saving treasure that Uncle Black had given him. The Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk and the Silvery Rock lay on the left and right of Qin Wentian. The golden primordial ape stood up, but its head was already beneath Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stretched out his left hand, gently stroking the head of the golden primordial ape, as well as the back of the Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk. The astral war beasts inclined their heads slightly, glancing at him, as though they possessed emotions. These were the astral war beasts he had summoned, and their hearts and minds were connected to his. Behind Qin Wentian, the purgatory Vermilion Bird let out a long screech. Momentarily, the astral war beasts lowered their heads, as though they had sensed the majesty of a king. Upon seeing this, Qin Wentian could only smile bitterly. After which, the purgatory vermilion bird flapped its wings, flinging the body of the silvery rock away as it lay beside Qin Wentian. Are you for real or fake? Why do you look so real? Qin Wentian could feel the heat radiating from the purgatory vermilion bird, as he gently stroked its forehead. The purgatory vermilion bird inclined its head, and let out a few screeches as it flapped its wings, as though it wanted to soar into the skies. You want to bring me away from here? Qin Wentian asked in a low voice. The purgatory vermilion bird let out a low cry, as it nodded its head. Fine. Qin Wentian stood up and stepped onto the back of the purgatory vermilion bird. Instantly, the purgatory vermilion bird soared into the skies, arcing through the air with lightning speed as it sped towards the horizon. The golden primal ape stomped on the ground in a frenzy, chasing after the purgatory vermilion bird. The crimson blood thunder hawk and the silvery rock carried the blue-scaled flood dragon and the silver-armored bear king as they soared into the skies, following after the purgatory vermilion bird. In the center of the vermilion bird formation, there was a demonic mountain peak that seemed to be connected to the heavens. At this moment, two silhouettes appeared in front of the mountain peak. These two were none other than Yao Jun and Peng Zhan. Yao Jun, ranked number 13 on the Heavenly Fate ranking, was from the Sky Demon sect. Peng Zhan, ranked number 14 on the Heavenly Fate ranking, was from the Beast King Hall. Both of them were heaven's chosen of the demon continent, and their rankings were equal. Both of them were extremely powerful, and every time they fought, there would be no clear victor or loser. But now, they were actually joining forces. The vermilion birds hovering above their backs were frenziedly rushing forward, slamming into the mountain walls, causing them to tremble violently. It was as though the vermilion birds wanted to break apart the mountain walls, yet they were unable to do so. The ancient luck of the vermilion bird must be extraordinary. Yao Jun's eyes were cold as he stared at Peng Zhan's vermilion bird. If he devoured it, would his vermilion bird be able to break through the mountain? At this moment, a long cry of a vermilion bird rang out from afar. Yao Jun and Peng Zhan turned their heads, only to see the silhouette of a vermilion bird whistling through the air. This vermilion bird was covered in purgatory flames, incomparably terrifying as its demonic chi towered up into the skies. What was even more shocking was that on the back of the vermilion bird, there was a young man standing there, like the sovereign of all demons. Below the vermilion bird, on the ground, the golden primal ape traversed a vast distance with every step it took, causing the earth to tremble violently, as though the mountains were about to crumble apart. Beside the vermilion bird, the crimson blood thunder hawk and the silvery rock arced through the skies. It's him. Yao Jun stared at the scene in front of him, his heart pounding wildly. It was Qin Wentian again. This person was like a demon, even more demonic and stronger than him and Peng Zhan. The purgatory vermilion bird roared, causing Yao Jun and Peng Zhan's vermilion bird to hurriedly evade. After which, the purgatory vermilion bird transformed into a sharp blade, directly slamming into the mountain rampart. Rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly as the golden primal ape rushed forth to help, frenziedly attacking. Gigantic boulders tumbled down from the mountain peak as blood flowed from the forehead of the purgatory vermilion bird. However, it didn't seem to be tired at all, it continued slamming into the mountain rampart relentlessly. Finally, a shrill cry rang out as the mountain rampart split apart, revealing a gigantic cavern. Qin Wentian squatted down, gently caressing the purgatory vermilion bird's forehead. The purgatory vermilion bird inclined its head, its baleful aura was now incomparably docile, its sharp eyes gleaming with a hint of pride. Thank you for your hard work. Qin Wentian rubbed the center of the purgatory vermilion bird's forehead as he continued forward. Wait a minute. Peng Zhan coldly snorted. Qin Wentian turned his head, his demonic gaze sweeping over to Peng Zhan. After which, Peng Zhan laughed malevolently. Yao Jun, this person helped the two of us, should we thank him? Yao Jun's countenance stiffened as he coldly laughed in his heart. This Peng Zhan wanted to swallow Qin Wentian's ancient luck. Chapter 371. Qin Wentian's gaze swept past Peng Zhan as rumbling sounds echoed out. The golden primal ape stomped on the ground, while the crimson blood thunder hawk arced through the air in a beautiful arc, flying towards Peng Zhan. Peng Zhan's demonic qi gushed forth as his astral souls descended. His entire person exuded a terrifying aura. However, at this moment, a terrifying light shone from the center of Qin Wentian's brows. Instantly, Peng Zhan's countenance turned incredibly unsightly to behold. He blasted out with his palm, but Yao Jun discovered that Peng Zhan's attack had landed on an illusory space. There was nothing there at all. What's going on? Peng Zhan's heart trembled as a terrifying sense of danger bore down on him. Just when he wanted to evade, a thunderous boom rang out as the terrifying palm imprint of the golden primal ape slammed into his body. In an instant, Peng Zhan was flung through the air as a bolt of lightning blasted into his body. Peng Zhan's silhouette was blasted far away, vanishing from sight. This, Yao Jun's eyes flashed with shock as his countenance turned incredibly unsightly. Initially, he thought that he would still be able to fight against Qin Wentian. But now that he saw the current situation, he realized that if he fought against Qin Wentian, the consequences would be extremely dire. He would be completely suppressed, just like Peng Zhan. At this moment, bewilderment could be seen in his eyes. In that instant earlier, why did Peng Zhan's attack make such a huge mistake? That shouldn't be the case. Peng Zhan's strength wasn't any weaker than his, and his vision was extremely sharp. How could he make such a fatal mistake? He cast a deep glance at Qin Wentian, feeling that this person was getting more and more mysterious and unfathomable. Qin Wentian glanced at him before entering the cave together with the purgatory vermilion bird. The golden primal ape, the blue-scaled flood dragon and the silver-armored bear king stood outside the cave, guarding it, not allowing anyone to enter. Yao Jun understood in his heart that this ancient luck was no longer fated with him. Qin Wentian stepped into the cavern. Earlier, the cavern was dimly lit, but as he continued forward, the surroundings gradually brightened up. After a period of time, Qin Wentian arrived at a palace. His gaze froze as a strange light flickered in his demonic eyes. There was actually a palace hidden within the cave. The enormous palace was extremely vast and dignified. It emitted a ghastly coldness, and there seemed to be a terrifying demonic aura hidden within. There were many statues in the palace. All of these statues were actually in the form of demonic beasts, exuding a demonic aura. It was extremely terrifying. Kacha. A light sound rang out, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. After which, he turned his gaze in a certain direction as a terrifying light flashed in his eyes. He saw that in that direction, there was an ancient demon statue. It was a fearsome devil-wind tiger. This statue was actually slowly shedding its outer shell, revealing its malevolent demonic features. Its eyes gleamed with a cold light. The statue had come to life. Cracking sounds rang out continuously as the outer shells of the statues fell off one by one. Countless demonic eyes stared at Qin Wentian as a terrifying demonic aura swept across the sky. It was incomparably terrifying. The purgatory vermilion bird let out a shrill screech, while the crimson blood thunder hawk and silvery rock howled in rage. However, the demonic aura of those demonic beasts grew stronger and stronger as the statues transformed into demons. Qin Wentian's gaze was ice-cold as he floated up into the air. Abruptly, those demonic beasts all started to move, rushing towards Qin Wentian. Just the violent demonic aura they exuded was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the spectators. The body of the purgatory vermilion bird was bathed in flames, resembling the flames of purgatory. It let out a long screech as it dashed out. Everywhere the purgatory flames passed by, the bodies of the demonic beasts were instantly set ablaze. At the same time, the wings of the purgatory vermilion bird turned a terrifying golden color, causing blood to splatter everywhere it passed by. However, it was unknown how many demonic beast statues there were in the ancient palace. Right now, all of them had transformed into demonic beasts, unleashing attacks in a frenzy. The Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk and Silvery Rock also rushed out, engaging in a bloody battle against the demonic beasts. At the same time, some of the demonic beasts rushed to the side of Qin Wentian, only to see Qin Wentian stomping on the ground as his palms blasted out in a frenzy. In an instant, one of the demonic beasts was shattered into pieces. How can this be? I can't inscribe divine inscriptions. Qin Wentian's gaze was ice-cold. He didn't know what material the ground was made of, but there was actually no way for him to inscribe divine inscriptions. Since this was the case, he could only rely on his own methods to deal with these countless demonic beasts. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird, Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk and Silvery Rock were all engaged in a frenzied battle. All of them were extremely powerful, especially the Purgatory Vermilion Bird. The flames on its body were akin to the flames of Purgatory, and its might was extremely terrifying. Its wings were like the sharpest blades in the world, capable of lacerating the bodies of demonic beasts. However, the demonic beasts here were all incomparably frenzied, and they didn't care about their own lives as they lunged forward. A terrifying devilish ape directly descended from the skies, slamming into the body of the Purgatory Vermilion Bird. However, such a fearsome attack similarly injured the Purgatory Vermilion Bird. This scene repeated itself over and over again. Before long, the Silver Rock was torn apart and died. Soon after, the Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk died as well. Qin Wentian's third eye glowed with a brilliant light as a fearsome pressure bore down on him. His body was enveloped by a layer of demonic armor, and all the demonic beasts that came his way were all slain by him. Qin Wentian continued advancing, and everywhere he passed by, the corpses of the demonic beasts piled up. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird seemed to understand Qin Wentian's intentions. It also opened up a path for Qin Wentian. Along the way, it killed an unknown number of demonic beasts. Blood seeped out from the corners of its mouth, dripping down unceasingly. Yet its eyes were as cold as ever, as though it was a god of death from purgatory. A human and a demonic beast, not a single demonic beast could obstruct them. Finally, they arrived at the front of the Great Hall. A terrifying ancient demonic beast floated in the air, and it was actually the silhouette of a vermilion bird. The aura it exuded was incomparably terrifying, causing people to feel a chill down their spines. It stared at Qin Wentian and the Purgatory Vermilion Bird, its body brimming with killing intent. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird roared, wanting to rush out. However, Qin Wentian interjected, "Let me." As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian stepped out. This was the cavern he created, and thus, he should be the one to face this test. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird turned around, facing the demonic beasts that were still rushing towards it. Its gaze was as cold as ever. Qin Wentian's third eye opened, and a terrifying light flashed past. However, the Purgatory Vermilion Bird was still coldly staring at him, as though it wasn't affected in the slightest. Immune. Qin Wentian's countenance stiffened. This terrifying Purgatory Vermilion Bird was actually immune to his eye technique. Puchi. The Purgatory Vermilion Bird spat out a breath of frigid air, as though it came from the depths of hell itself. Qin Wentian's palms slammed out, and the silhouette of a dragon violently shot out. However, that dragon seemed to be frozen solid, and even Qin Wentian could feel a surge of frigid air flowing through his arm, causing the circulation of his astral energy to be obstructed as a terrifying phantasm aura invaded his body. What a terrifying phantasm aura! Is this the test of ancient luck? Qin Wentian's demonic gaze was as resolute as ever. Behind him, the Purgatory Vermilion Bird frenziedly attacked, blocking all the demonic beasts for him. Even though it was injured, it didn't retreat in the slightest. It was as though it knew how terrifying the Purgatory Vermilion Bird was, and it didn't want its master to be distracted in the slightest. Qin Wentian stared at the Purgatory Vermilion Bird as he sent out another palm strike. Instantly, the heartbreak bell appeared. However, the purgatory vermilion bird continued to stare fixedly at him, unmoving, as though it wasn't affected in the slightest. This made Qin Wentian realize that the only way to kill the purgatory vermilion bird was to attack with brute force. There were many innate techniques that the purgatory vermilion bird was immune to. Behind him, the purgatory vermilion bird's furious roars echoed out. Blood dripped from its body as it turned into a blur, blocking all the demonic beasts, preventing them from getting close to Qin Wentian. It was a pity that the people in the outside world couldn't see what was going on. Otherwise, they would definitely be shocked. The ferocious vermilion bird had actually transformed into a true vermilion bird, and it was actually so loyal to its master that it would risk its life to protect him, so that they could obtain the ancient luck that belonged to them. The people in the outside world didn't know what kind of ancient luck the participants had obtained, or whether they had succeeded or failed, because they couldn't see it. Qin Wentian stared at the vermilion bird as he walked out. A terrifying demonic qi gushed forth from him, enveloping his entire body. His entire person radiated a demonic luster, and his eyes were incomparably cold. The purgatory vermilion bird stared coldly at Qin Wentian as it breathed out a stream of phantasm qi that wrapped around Qin Wentian's body, causing Qin Wentian's body to freeze and be corroded by the phantasm qi. However, his footsteps were still as firm as ever, as if nothing could stop his will. The phantasm qi was about to envelop Qin Wentian's body. Seeing that Qin Wentian was still walking forward, the phantasm vermilion bird's expression grew cold to the extreme. It dashed forward and landed on Qin Wentian's body in the blink of an eye. Its claw tore through everything and directly grabbed onto Qin Wentian's body. The phantasm qi madly penetrated Qin Wentian's body, giving him a feeling of death. However, Qin Wentian's hand grabbed onto its body, and he punched out with his right fist. In this instant, he had gathered all of his strength into his fist. The phantasm vermilion bird let out a furious roar as it tried to break free. However, a loud bang rang out as its body was struck by a powerful blow, causing its body to turn illusory. "Swallow it," Qin Wentian said coldly. The purgatory vermilion bird immediately swooped over, opened its beak, and swallowed the phantasm vermilion bird bit by bit. The phantasm vermilion bird tried to resist, but Qin Wentian grabbed its body and punched it over and over again. Finally, the purgatory vermilion bird swallowed the phantasm vermilion bird. When it turned its gaze back to Qin Wentian, it let out a long cry. The demonic beasts behind it finally stopped moving, and their bodies condensed back into statues. There seemed to be a layer of phantasm qi covering Qin Wentian's body, and there was a horrifying wound on his chest. The purgatory vermilion bird meekly stroked the wound, only to see Qin Wentian smiling as he said, "I'm fine." After speaking, he continued walking forward. Ahead of him, an ancient pathway appeared at the end of the palace. Qin Wentian followed the pathway and soon, he saw a golden-colored stone rampart that glowed with a golden light. 3 words were carved at the top of the stone wall: Fiend Transformation. Fiend Transformation. Qin Wentian drew in a deep breath. So this was the case. Back then, the Azure Emperor must have come here to seize the ancient luck. The Fiend Transformation art originated from here. Chapter 372. Qin Wentian's countenance was akin to that of a demon as he stared ahead, feeling extremely shocked in his heart. After a few thousand years, he and the Azure Emperor had actually obtained the same ancient luck and arrived at the same place. It was as though it was fated. However, if this place only contained the ancient luck of the Fiend Transformation art, wouldn't it be a waste for them to obtain his ancient luck? Qin Wentian didn't have such thoughts. His eyes shone with a bright light as he stared at the golden stone rampart in front of him. At the center of his brows, numerous demonic beasts could be seen materializing there. This was the most perfect Fiend Transformation art. The inheritance the Azure Emperor left for him back then couldn't possibly be the same as the golden stone wall before him. At this moment, Qin Wentian suddenly understood. So it turned out that the countless ancient demonic beasts outside, although it was a test, wasn't it all for the sake of completing the fiend transformation art? Fate is decided by the heavens. Since I'm already here, how can I return empty-handed? I shall complete the fiend transformation art right here. Qin Wentian murmured. After which, he gently caressed the purgatory vermilion bird beside him. Although it was injured, its eyes were as gentle as ever as it rubbed its head against Qin Wentian's chest. Not only that, after devouring the phantasm vermilion bird, the purgatory vermilion bird's luster seemed to have changed, becoming even more sinister. Have a good rest, I need to recover from my injuries as well. After that, let's go and clean up the ancient hall outside. Qin Wentian slowly spoke. The purgatory vermilion bird nodded its head and lay on the ground, closing its eyes as though it was meditating. Qin Wentian also sat down cross-legged. After killing the phantasm vermilion bird, he was also injured, and his injuries weren't light. The phantasm vermilion bird was extremely powerful and was immune to most attacks. Hence, Qin Wentian used the most tyrannical method to slay it. Naturally, if it wasn't for the fact that the purgatory vermilion bird was injured from protecting him, Qin Wentian wouldn't have taken such a risk. After recovering from his injuries, the man and the demonic demon returned to the temple. Cracking sounds could be heard as the statues began to shatter, and demonic qi once again filled the air. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with an incomparably demonic light. Slowly walking forward, he actually walked towards the center of the great hall. When he saw a statue shattering into pieces, an ancient demon appeared. He directly grabbed out with his palm as a terrifying might gushed forth from him, wanting to destroy the ancient demon and seize its spirit. 4 hours later, both Qin Wentian and the purgatory vermilion bird were covered in blood. At this moment, Qin Wentian was sitting cross-legged as boundless demonic qi gushed into his body. His body was like a bottomless pit, frenziedly devouring the demonic qi. The demonic qi from his body grew increasingly denser and more terrifying. 3 days later, there were no more demonic beasts on the ground of the ancient palace. In fact, the demonic qi in the great hall had all disappeared, all gathered on the body of the young man sitting cross-legged. The demonic qi around him towered up into the sky, it was unknown how terrifying he was. Within the vermilion bird formation, time flowed by as the number of participants decreased. There were less than 100 remaining. The spectators in the outside world were still paying close attention to what was happening within the vermilion bird formation. There were less than 100 participants, yet half of them had already comprehended second-level mandates. This was definitely an extremely terrifying number, far exceeding their understanding. Such a situation had never occurred before in any of the previous ranking battles. In the past, those who had comprehended second-level mandates could easily rank within the top 20, or even higher. But this year, the heavenly fate rankings had changed. Not only were there less than 360 participants remaining, the ancient luck of the vermilion bird formation couldn't even contain 100 participants. The weaker participants were all eliminated. Those who remained were all growing stronger and stronger. Could it be that there was some kind of destiny that allowed those who remained to bathe in ancient luck? Naturally, what the spectators paid more attention to were those who managed to find their ancient luck. Although there were still quite a few remaining, those who could monopolize the ancient luck were exceedingly few. There were only a total of 9. Initially, Yao Jun or Peng Zhan would have a chance. However, Qin Wentian beat them to it, injuring Peng Zhan and snatching the ancient luck away. After that, there was no one else who could monopolize the ancient luck. These 9 people were, Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Qin Zheng, Yunmengyi, Mu Feng and Qin Wentian. Although the spectators didn't know what they were experiencing, they could faintly sense that these 9 would become the most dazzling contenders of the heavenly fate rankings. Not only that, they might even be able to rank within the top 9. Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Zhan Chen and Emperor Azure were all within expectations. Mu Feng was originally ranked at the top of the heavenly fate rankings, so it was only natural that he would erupt in power after his temperament underwent a huge change. Si Qiong, Qin Zheng, Yunmengyi and Qin Wentian were the 4 dark horses. Naturally, other than these 9, there were also others who had their own good fortune. It was just that they were all fighting over it, and it wasn't like the 9 who monopolized the ancient luck. Not only that, nobody knew what they were experiencing, and what changes would happen after they exited the heavenly fate rankings. These 9 people were already extremely powerful. Even Qin Wentian, who was initially looked down upon, had domineeringly slaughtered Yang Fan and the others, and even looked down on Peng Zhan. From this, one could see how strong they were. The strong would only grow stronger. Mo Qingqing has also found her own ancient luck. At this moment, the gazes of the spectators froze as they stared at the disappearing silhouette of Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing became the 10th contender, yet she was different from the rest. She didn't obtain as much ancient luck as the other 9 contenders, allowing the vermilion bird to grow stronger. Yet, she still managed to find her own ancient luck. Nobody knew why. Could it be that because she was beautiful, the vermilion bird formation would take care of her? That was obviously impossible. Only Mo Qingqing herself would know the true reason. Senior Tianji, how many contenders do you think will remain in the vermilion bird formation for this ranking battle? Someone in the air asked Old Man Tianji. The fate of Grand Xia has changed, this old man doesn't know either. However, how many contenders will remain in the heavenly fate rankings? If there's only 1 contender left, then the heavenly fate rankings will only contain 1 contender. Old Man Tianji slowly replied. His eyes were filled with wisdom, and nobody knew what he was thinking. However, this time around, the number of contenders in the vermilion bird formation is evidently much stronger compared to the previous years. This means that among these contenders, there's a high possibility that they would be able to influence the fate of Grand Xia in the future. Old Man Tianji continued, his words causing the spectators to be startled. Fate and destiny were boundlessly mysterious. Nobody could say for sure whether or not it truly existed. However, the Venerate Heavens sect had existed for countless years, and had always been able to peer into the constellations of the heavens and earth. Old Man Tianji's words couldn't be false. There's a beginning and end to the heavens and earth. The Venerate Heavens sect has existed for countless years, and had always been able to peer into the constellations of Grand Xia. Old Man Tianji's words couldn't be false. Old Man Tianji's words were filled with profound mysteries, nobody could understand what he meant. The various transcendent powers all had their own thoughts. The gazes of those from the Chen clan sharpened. One of them laughed, Senior's words make sense. These contenders are all extraordinary, and Chen Wang was the first to obtain ancient luck. I wonder if he would be able to influence Grand Xia in the future. This person was none other than Chen Wang's uncle, and he had high hopes for Chen Wang. There's no such thing as first or last. Those from the Shi clan coldly spoke. Evidently, they weren't convinced by the words of the other party. If what Old Man Tianji said was true, that the fate of Grand Xia was about to change, and the person who could change the fate of Grand Xia was within the vermilion bird formation, they would naturally rather believe that the person who could change the fate of Grand Xia was none other than their Shi clan Shirpadian. Nonsense. Those from the Hua clan coldly snorted. Hua Shaoqing wasn't able to obtain ancient luck, they were naturally unhappy in their hearts. Not only that, what sort of character was Hua Taishu? How could he be any weaker than these people before them? This Chen Wang was also the most dazzling character here, but in the past, when did Hua Taishu ever manage to rise up? As long as Hua Taishu existed, Chen Wang would forever be number 2. If these contenders could change the fate of Grand Xia, what about Hua Taishu? Those from the Hua clan had always believed that Hua Taishu would be able to influence the future of Grand Xia, becoming an extremely important character. He would also be the key to breaking through the current limitations of their Hua clan. Each of them had their own thoughts, but those in the vermilion bird formation naturally didn't know. Below the reefs, a fat silhouette leapt up as he howled in rage, "Fatty, have finally broken through to the highest level of Yuanfu." So it turned out that during these days, Fan Lu knew that his current level of strength was too low, and so he chose to focus on his cultivation until he broke through to the 8th level of Yuanfu. After that, he consumed the limit break pellet and broke through to the 9th level of Yuanfu. The pitiful Fatty still didn't know that the outside world had already undergone a heaven-shaking, earth-toppling transformation. Filled with confidence, Fatty Fan Lu no longer dodged. He was prepared to teach those in the vermilion bird formation a good lesson, letting them know of Fan Li's might. Very swiftly, Fan Li's wish was fulfilled. He met a person who had once been defeated by Qin Zheng, and was even forced to flee miserably from Mu Feng's hands. The enraged Wang Ju used his most ferocious attacks to blast Fan Lu away. Fan Lu had no idea what had just happened. Why was the situation different from what he had imagined? Wasn't the genius Fan Lu supposed to shake the entire heavenly fate rankings? Why was he blasted away before he even had a chance to show off his skills? However, when he exited the vermilion bird formation, he seemed to have understood something. However, why did Chen Wang, Qin Wentian, and the rest also disappear? Qin Wentian was still in the ancient hall. Currently, his fiend transformation art had finally reached the 3rd level, the demonic transformation realm. With an intention of his will, a pair of terrifying golden-winged rock wings appeared behind Qin Wentian's back. His silhouette flickered as he appeared in front of the golden stone rampart. At this moment, the ancient characters on the stone rampart began to transform. The golden light flashed, so blinding that Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness as he stared at the transformations on the stone rampart. Finally, a majestic scene appeared on the stone rampart. Over there, a silhouette could be seen standing in the middle of a vast land. He was chanting, emitting a mystical melody that caused the heavens and earth to change color. Demonic chi from all 8 directions converged on him as astral light cascaded downwards. That mystical melody gradually grew louder and louder, causing the earth to tremble as the astral light in the skies shone resplendently. In an instant, a boundless amount of energy bore down on this person. His body began to transform, vermilion bird wings, vermilion bird golden body, vermilion bird talons. Terrifying rumbling sounds rang out in Qin Wentian's ears, yet he continued chanting. Abruptly, a long cry of a vermilion bird rang out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. That person soared up into the skies, transforming into a vermilion bird that soared up into the clouds. The chant of the demonic divinity, ancient will pierces the heavens, gathering demonic chi from all 8 directions, devouring demonic chi from the starry skies, connecting with the demonic divinities of the 8 directions. I am fated to become a demon. An ancient voice rang out in Qin Wentian's ears, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. This art, the demonic divinity sacrificial transformation, could transform one into a demonic divinity's spirit, irreversible. Chapter 373. Irreversible. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. After a moment of silence, he drew in a deep breath. So it turned out that after the fiend transformation art, there was an even more terrifying demonic divinity sacrificial rite that would only appear after he had cultivated the 3rd level of the fiend transformation art. Back then, the Azure Emperor must have missed it because he didn't cultivate the fiend transformation art beforehand. However, although there was the demonic divinity sacrificial rite, this art was too tyrannical. The chant of the demonic divinity was so powerful that it could communicate with the demonic divinities from all directions, transforming a human into a demon. Not only that, becoming the spirit of a demonic divinity meant that in the future, there was a chance for one to become a demonic divinity. The vermilion bird was undoubtedly a demonic divinity, the totem of Grand Xia. Qin Wentian felt a sense of frustration in his heart. He gently stroked the wings of the purgatory vermilion bird as he spoke in a low voice. This art is heaven-defying, transforming a human into a demon, becoming the spirit of a demonic divinity. Humans are the spirit of all living beings, how terrifying would their cultivation be after transforming into a demon? However, how can I transform into a demon? As he thought of this, Qin Wentian shook his head. He stared at the purgatory vermilion bird and asked, "Don't tell me you want me to accompany you to soar through the heavens and earth after I transform into a demon?" The purgatory vermilion bird felt wronged when it heard Qin Wentian's words. It continued to rub its head against Qin Wentian's chest. Qin Wentian seemed to understand the vermilion bird's intentions. He calmly replied, "I won't blame you, but it's a pity. The ancient luck within the vermilion bird formation is so powerful, and this demonic divinity sacrificial rite is also a heaven-defying art. If someone was willing to cultivate it, they would surely be able to transcend the heavens. However, I'm not willing to cultivate it. It's such a waste." The purgatory vermilion bird spoke in a low voice. Qin Wentian continued, "Although I'm not willing to transform into a demon, since I've encountered this art, I still have to learn it. In the future, if I meet someone who's fated with me, I can bestow it to them." As he finished speaking, Qin Wentian sat down cross-legged and focused on comprehending the song of the demonic god, using his ancient will to connect to the heavens. Immersed in cultivation, Qin Wentian had no idea how much time had passed. After a long time, he began to chant in a low voice, like the voice of a demon god. It was deep and powerful, and seemed to originate from ancient times. It wasn't the voice of a human, but contained a terrifying might that connected heaven and earth. The entire palace trembled slightly as boundless demonic qi gathered with Qin Wentian at the center. Inside Qin Wentian's body, his bloodline was surging, becoming more and more terrifying. That dormant bloodline was actually showing signs of awakening. Terrifying rumbling sounds thundered out as Qin Wentian's bloodline roared madly, emitting a terrifying sound that reverberated throughout the entire palace. The purgatory vermilion bird that was lying on the ground beside Qin Wentian stood up, staring at Qin Wentian as it let out a long screech. A resplendent light shone in its eyes as it stared at Qin Wentian, filled with shock. Qin Wentian continued chanting, his bloodline transformed into a terrifying vortex that revolved frenziedly. Abruptly, the terrifying bloodline within Qin Wentian's body congregated into the form of a gigantic primordial demon. A pair of eyes that could shake one's soul opened abruptly, terrifying to the extreme. Who was it that was using the power of chanting to summon a primordial demon? A peerlessly terrifying pressure permeated the air. The purgatory vermilion bird actually prostrated itself on the ground, struggling to raise its head. Its gaze was fixed on Qin Wentian's body, and it was unknown how shocked it was. That oppressive might was too terrifying. Too weak. A low voice rang out in the depths of Qin Wentian's heart. After which, the pressure gradually dissipated, and the bloodline within Qin Wentian's body gradually regained its calmness, no longer as violent as before. Abruptly, Qin Wentian's eyes snapped open as a terrifying demonic light gleamed within. His gaze was incomparably sharp, and his forehead was drenched in sweat. It disappeared, Qin Wentian mumbled to himself. Earlier, he clearly heard a voice in his heart saying that he was too weak. After which, that terrifying primordial demon continued to slumber. It was as though with his current strength, he didn't have the qualifications to activate the power of this bloodline. He was simply too weak. Who would have thought that the demonic divinity sacrificial transformation would actually activate the power of my bloodline? Seems like it's truly an ancient demonic bloodline, and an extremely powerful one at that. If not, it wouldn't have been activated by the demonic divinity chant. Qin Wentian silently mused, as he grew even more curious about his origins. Back then when he was in a desperate situation of death, he had activated his bloodline once, but even then, he only managed to activate a trace of its power. His dual bloodlines contained boundless potential, but sadly, he was too weak and had no way to unearth it. Was a cultivator at the peak of Yuanfu too weak? In that case, what cultivation level could he reach in order to meet the minimum requirement? Heavenly Dipper realm, or the even stronger celestial phenomenon realm? Just as Qin Wentian was contemplating, rumbling sounds echoed out as the entire palace started to sink downwards. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered as he inclined his head and stared at the skies. A terrifying beam of light directly pierced through the air, and right there, Qin Wentian could see the gigantic ancient demonic vermilion bird hovering above the vermilion bird formation. The spirit of an ancient demonic beast, controlling the vermilion bird formation. It was as though it was a true life form. As the beam of light shot out, everything seemed to be on the verge of being annihilated. The entire palace transformed into golden light, as though it was about to turn into dust. Qin Wentian still stood there, but at this moment, the palace disappeared, as though the vermilion bird formation was undergoing a transformation. Since you are fated to transform into a demon, you can control the spirit of the vermilion bird. In the ancient kingdom, you can do whatever you want. A voice filled with temptation rang out in Qin Wentian's ears, causing Qin Wentian's heart to tremble. His eyes gleamed with sharpness as he inclined his head and stared at the ancient demonic vermilion bird in the air. The demonic divinity sacrificial transformation required the chanting of the demonic beasts to reach the heavens, gathering the power of the demonic beasts from all directions. And in the vermilion bird formation, there was a spirit of the vermilion bird. Since he was fated to transform into a demon, his ancient will could reach the heavens and borrow its strength. Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto the purgatory vermilion bird beside him. His gaze was filled with gentleness as he rubbed its head. So the ancient luck you bestowed upon me is so powerful. Sadly, I'm not willing to transform into a demon. The purgatory vermilion bird stared at Qin Wentian with a gentle look in its eyes. It lightly shook its head, as though it didn't care about Qin Wentian's thoughts. If Qin Wentian wasn't willing to transform into a demon, it wouldn't force the issue. The spectators in the outside world were all shocked to the extreme. They saw that the 10 people who had inherited their ancient luck had all appeared. The area they were in had already been destroyed, and even the ancient vermilion bird formation was undergoing a transformation. Right now, only 36 people remained in the vermilion bird formation. These 36 people were all much stronger compared to the time when the ranking battle began. Especially those 10, their auras had undergone a drastic transformation, becoming even more terrifying. For the next 3 years, only 36 people will be able to enter the heavenly fate rankings. At this moment, Old Man Tianji's voice rang out in the air, fulfilling his promise. The number of people remaining in the vermilion bird formation would be the same as the number of people remaining in the heavenly fate rankings. Now that the vermilion bird formation had been dispelled, there were only 36 people remaining in the heavenly fate rankings. This meant that the 36 people standing in front of them were the next top 36 rankers of the heavenly fate rankings. In the future, if someone wanted to enter, they would have to defeat them first. Chen Wang, what kind of ancient luck did he obtain? How terrifying! At this moment, the gazes of the crowd turned over, only to see Chen Wang sitting cross-legged, the great solar universe energy radiating from his body. Behind him, a terrifying shadow of the sun floated in the air, as though he was about to condense into a great solar Dharma body. Just the radiance of the great solar Dharma body alone was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the spectators. Chen Wang's strength has always been tyrannical. Now, who can stop him? The hearts of the spectators murmured. For the ranking battle this time around, Chen Wang was undoubtedly the number one. It would be difficult for anyone to contend against him. Other than Chen Wang, Shirpatian, Zhan Chen, and the rest also had their own luck. The ranking battle this time around was extremely unusual, something that had never happened in the past. 10 people had all obtained a great amount of luck. Qin Wentian, the demonic qi exuding from him is terrifying. But now that Chen Wang is even stronger, he won't spare him. The gazes of the spectators shifted onto Qin Wentian, as well as the purgatory vermilion bird hovering above him. And indeed, at this moment, Chen Wang opened his eyes, staring at Qin Wentian. His eyes shone with the brilliance of the scorching sun. Qin Wentian had actually walked out of the cavern unscathed. Not only that, his demeanor had undergone a drastic change. The purgatory vermilion bird beside him had transformed into its true form, and he had also obtained ancient luck. But so what of it? Right now, there were only 36 of them left. Qin Wentian would die without a doubt. The vermilion bird formation had already dissipated. The space around them seemed to have shrunk, and in the center of it all, a resplendent vermilion bird arena platform could be seen hovering in the air, resembling the shape of a vermilion bird. This was the vermilion bird arena platform. The remaining 36 contenders, the top 36 of the Heavenly Fate rankings, were about to engage in the final battle. The spectators felt a sense of fervor in their hearts. It was as though they were witnessing an unprecedented ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings. In the past 1,000 years, there had never been such a magnificent scene. Maybe what old man Tianji had said was true, the fate of Grand Xia was about to change. The heavens of Grand Xia were about to change. Old man Tianji inclined his head, staring at the vermilion bird in the air. The eyes of the vermilion bird were gigantic, incomparably demonic. For thousands of years, this vermilion bird formation was the only place in Grand Xia that hadn't been broken. And now, there was finally a change to it. What would happen in the ranking battle this time around? Even old man Tianji had no way to predict. The top 36 of the Heavenly Fate rankings have already been determined. Everyone, it's about time for you all to take a break. At that moment, a voice rang out. Everyone looked over and saw that at the other end of the corridor, there was a middle-aged man standing in the air. Behind him, several silhouettes slowly rose up into the air. All of them were young and exuded an extraordinary aura. Since you all came to the ancient kingdom, you are naturally our guests. Naturally, we will treat you all well before we proceed with the final battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings. The middle-aged man slowly spoke, his words causing the hearts of the crowd to tremble. Guests. Since they were the guests, didn't that mean that they were the hosts? People from the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia. Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto these people. Ouyang Guangsheng had once told him that the people from the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia were extremely mysterious. Thousands of years ago, when the ancient kingdom collapsed, the 9 grand clans wouldn't leave behind any survivors. Hence, the identities of these people were extremely suspicious. Maybe, the upper echelons of the various transcendent powers knew something. However, they were all tight-lipped about this, and it was a taboo. Chapter 374. Old man Tianji and the other transcendent powers also stared at these newcomers, but they didn't have any expressions of surprise on their faces. It was as though they had long known of their existence. In fact, there were even some who frowned in displeasure. It's good to take a break, old man Tianji calmly stated. Seems like you can live for a while longer. Chen Wang stared at Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke. Qin Wentian's countenance was akin to that of a demon. His eyes flickered with a cold light, but no one could tell what he was thinking. Everyone stood up and continued their journey towards the ancient kingdom. Ouyang Guangsheng came to Qin Wentian's side as he asked, "How is it? It seems like your improvement isn't too bad." Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a hint of a smile. "Not too bad, but I feel that the one who has changed the most is you. Your demonic qi is so terrifying, you should have some ancient luck." Ouyang Guangsheng laughed as he stared ahead, "Be careful of these people." Qin Wentian nodded his head, only to see the middle-aged man leading the group to a banquet hall. There were many silhouettes here, and there were beautiful serving girls serving the banquet. The middle-aged man stood at the head of the table, smiling as he spoke, "Everyone, please take a seat." The crowd sat down. Qin Wentian sat at the back, Ouyang Guangsheng sat on his right, and Mo Qingqing sat on his left. This scene caused a cold light to flash in Zhan Chen's eyes. Zhan Chen also had his own luck. "Si Qiong, how do you feel?" Beside the middle-aged man sat the dark horse Si Qiong, causing the crowd to be bewildered. So it turned out that Si Qiong was someone from the ancient kingdom. The ancient luck of Grand Xia is one of the strongest innate techniques outside of the 9 ultimate arts, Si Qiong replied, causing the middle-aged man's eyes to gleam with a bright light. Secret arts and innate techniques were all exceedingly powerful, especially the secret arts left behind by the ancient kingdom. They weren't made public, but they were definitely not any weaker than the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia. So it turned out that they were all hidden within the Vermilion Bird formation, and were controlled by the spirit of the Vermilion Bird. Luckily, they didn't forcefully destroy the Vermilion Bird formation back then. If not, they wouldn't be alive today. Qin Wentian's heart trembled. The Fiend Transformation Art and Demonic Divinity Sacrificial Transformation Art were actually the secret arts of ancient Grand Xia. No wonder they were so terrifying. I won't hide anything from all of you. Our identities should already be known by all of your clans and powers. After the war in Grand Xia ends, you can go and inquire about our identities. After that, you can come to our ancient kingdom at any time and become one of us. The middle-aged man had a smile on his face as he continued, in addition, we are willing to use one of the 9 ultimate arts of ancient Grand Xia in exchange for the secret arts in your hands. Everyone's expression sharpened and a strange look flashed through their eyes. These people seem to have come for the secret divine ability. What do you think? The middle-aged man swept his gaze over, first landing on Chen Wang, before turning his gaze onto the others. Chen Wang fell silent for a moment. He originally had a high chance of becoming the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings, and even his clan had pinned their hopes on him. Hence, he knew the secrets of the other party and knew who they were. Fine. Chen Wang contemplated for a moment before nodding his head. Exchanging for one of the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia wouldn't be a loss for him. Given the capabilities of the other party, if they wanted to forcefully snatch it away, he would have nothing to say. However, given the other party's status, their goal was to obtain all the valuable treasures of Grand Xia. As for the exchange, they knew of the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia. The Great Solar Chen clan wasn't on the same level as them. Shirpatian also lightly nodded his head. Si Qiong originally already had a connection with them, and now that Zhan Chen and Emperor Azure had agreed as well, they couldn't help but feel anticipation in their hearts. Being able to obtain one of the 9 ultimate arts wasn't a loss for them at all. I need some time to consider. Qin Jing calmly replied, his words causing the eyes of the middle-aged man to flicker with unhappiness. I need some time to consider as well, Yunmengyi calmly replied, causing Qin Wentian to turn his gaze onto her. Yunmengyi had always given Qin Wentian a mysterious feeling. She seemed to have some sort of connection with the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, and at this moment, Yunmengyi's beautiful eyes were also looking in his direction, filled with anticipation. Let me consider. Mo Qingqing spoke in a low voice. The eyes of the middle-aged man gradually turned cold when he heard that he had to consider 3 people consecutively. You guys better think this through. Si Qiong's eyes flickered with sharpness as he swept his gaze onto Yunmengyi and Mo Qingqing. Qin Wentian frowned, I need some time to consider as well. As the sound of his voice faded, Si Qiong's eyes flickered with coldness as he stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian truly didn't give him any face at all. The ranking battle for the Heavenly Fate rankings hasn't ended yet. Si Qiong's voice was ice-cold. I need to consider as well. Mu Feng faintly replied. The 5 people behind him all said that they would consider, causing the atmosphere of the banquet to turn extremely tense, as a sense of pressure could be felt. You guys don't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. A cold voice drifted out from the mouth of a young woman behind the middle-aged man. She exuded an aura of coldness as she swept her gaze over the crowd. Exchanging the ultimate arts of Grand Xia with you guys is already giving you guys a great deal of good fortune. Can't you guys even consider a matter of mutual consent? Isn't this the attitude of an equal exchange? Qin Jing faintly spoke as he laughed, this banquet isn't a good one. Seems like it's best for us to bid farewell. Let's continue with the ranking battle. Qin Wentian calmly stated. After which, they slowly stood up, only to see Si Qiong rapping his fingers on the table in front of him as a cold smile appeared on his face. Wait a minute. Qin Wentian and the rest turned their gazes onto Si Qiong, only to see Si Qiong lifting his head as a smile appeared on his face. If the ranking battle for the Heavenly Fate rankings really starts, I won't be polite to any of you. No need. Mu Feng's voice was filled with a sinister coldness as he stepped out. The smile on Si Qiong's face gradually turned cold, his lips were as sharp as the edge of a blade. In that case, let's meet again at the Heavenly Fate rankings. The banquet ended on an unhappy note. Qin Wentian and the rest left, but Chen Wang, Shirpatian and the rest who had agreed to stay behind. Descendants of the Chen clan and Shi clan, all of you are not bad. Go back and ask your clans if you are willing to join us. Maybe one day, you guys will be able to emulate the splendor of your ancestors. The middle-aged man smiled as he glanced at Chen Wang and the rest. Let's put the ranking battle aside for now. You guys can focus on cultivating the ultimate arts of Grand Xia. Chen Wang and the rest frenziedly flickered. If they could cultivate the ultimate arts of Grand Xia, their combat prowess would be even stronger. At that time, they would be able to sweep aside all the others on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Right now, the existence that Chen Wang and the rest feared the most was none other than Si Qiong. So it turned out that Si Qiong was someone from Grand Xia. Zhan Chen and Emperor Azure also stayed behind. The middle-aged man smiled at the two of them as he calmly stated, for the ranking battle this time around, the four of you, in addition to Si Qiong's group of 5, shall fight for the top 5 positions. After speaking, the middle-aged man stood up. Follow me. Chen Wang and the rest followed him. As for Qin Wentian and the rest, they returned to the incomplete vermilion bird formation and sat in their respective positions. Chen Wang and Shirpatian didn't return. What happened? The hearts of the spectators were filled with bewilderment. Old man Tianji and the rest faintly understood something, but even for them, they didn't dare to interfere in this matter. The ranking battle this time around will definitely be the beginning of a change in Grand Xia's destiny. Old man Tianji sighed in his heart when he saw this scene. The fate of Grand Xia was the irresistible force of fate, there was no way to change it. Just like back then when Grand Xia was destroyed, there was no way to reverse the situation. It was just that old man Tianji had no way to predict what the fate of Grand Xia would be like. What would the fate of the various transcendent powers be like? For the ranking battle this time around, how many people would be able to determine the fate of Grand Xia? Who would be the most influential characters in the future? Nobody knew. Even though old man Tianji was able to pry into astral fate, he wasn't a prophet. Currently, the most suitable candidate for the demonic star was none other than the demonic young man sitting there. He was once a nameless nobody, but now, he finally stood out in the ranking battle. Time flowed by, Chen Wang and the rest still hadn't appeared. This caused the bewilderment in the hearts of the spectators to grow thicker and thicker. However, old man Tianji and the rest were incomparably calm, causing the spectators to wait patiently. Qin Wentian and the rest were similarly calm, they sat cross-legged and focused on their cultivation. They had no way to change the minds of others, they could only follow their hearts and live their lives with no regrets. Chen Wang and the rest had yet to return, there was a high possibility that they were cultivating the ultimate arts of Grand Xia. This caused Qin Wentian and the rest to feel immense pressure. Chen Wang, Shirpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen and Emperor Azure were originally the strongest among the 5. Now that they had the ultimate arts, they would definitely be even more terrifying. After a few more days passed, the sound of the wind whistling could be heard from afar as the middle-aged man appeared once again. Behind him, Chen Wang and the rest had smiles on their faces as they stared at the crowd, their eyes flickering with an unexcelled arrogance. Si Qiong turned his gaze over, staring in the direction of old man Tianji as he spoke, "The fate of Grand Xia shall be decided in a single battle. Since this is a battle for heavenly fate, why should we be afraid of death? A single battle shall determine heavenly fate." "You mean to say that life and death shall be decided by the heavenly fate?" Old man Tianji calmly asked. "That's right, the losers aren't worthy of the heavenly fate." Si Qiong swept his gaze over to Qin Wentian and the rest, his eyes gleaming with sharpness. "The fate of Grand Xia shall be decided today." Chen Wang stared at the skies, exuding an unexcelled aura. His gaze swept over to Qin Wentian and the rest as he spoke, "The weak aren't worthy of the heavenly fate. What do you all think?" Old man Tianji turned to the others. In the past, if one was defeated in the heavenly fate ranking battle, they could simply concede. This way, the elites of Grand Xia wouldn't die. But today, Chen Wang, Si Qiong, and the rest had arrogantly declared that life and death would be decided. The spectators all stared at the surroundings of the arena platform, their hearts filled with shock. They could clearly feel the overwhelming confidence radiating from Chen Wang, and if old man Tianji were to nod his head, the battle today would definitely become the most intense and brutal battle in the history of the heavenly fate rankings. The ranking battle this time around had far exceeded the expectations of everyone. Yet, this made them even more filled with anticipation. Today, who would be the one to decide the heavenly fate of Grand Xia? Qin Wentian's demonic eyes landed on Chen Wang, as a resplendent light flickered in his eyes. "I hope all of you will remember the words you said today. The weak aren't worthy of the heavenly fate. I don't believe in the heavenly fate, so why would I fear a battle?" Qin Wentian's voice was cold, incomparably demonic. Chapter 375. Countless gazes landed on the area around the arena platform. 36 silhouettes stood or sat on the stone platform, with the silhouettes of vermilion birds hovering behind them, exuding a baleful aura. These 36 people would be the most influential characters in Grand Xia in the future. Unless they were pushed off the heavenly fate rankings, they would remain in the top 10. Old man Tianji's countenance was as calm as ever as he stared at the crowd. Chen Wang, Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Qin Zheng, Yunmengyi, Mu Feng, Qin Wentian and Mo Qincheng. The 10 of you are temporarily ranked in the top 10. The remaining 26 will be ranked according to the amount of ancient luck obtained by the vermilion birds. Wang Ju will be ranked 11th, Hua Shaoqing will be ranked 12th. As the sound of old man Tianji's voice faded, the crowd turned their gazes onto the vermilion birds behind them. If they wanted to change the rankings, they could only do so through battle. For the ranking battle this time around, we shall proceed from the bottom to the top. Starting from the bottom, you will challenge those in front of you. If you win, you will replace the previous ranking and have the opportunity to continue challenging them. If you lose, your ranking will be fixed, and you can challenge those above you. Old man Tianji continued, "At this moment, the 36 of you will be ranked 36. Xiao Du, you will be the first to challenge anyone you wish." Xiao Du was a member of the Xiao faction of the Nine Mystical Palace. The Nine Mystical Palace had high hopes for him when he participated in the ranking battle for the Heavenly Fate rankings. Not only that, he didn't disappoint them and managed to enter the Heavenly Fate rankings. Although the Heavenly Fate rankings only had a ranking of 36, he just so happened to be ranked last. His silhouette flickered as he gracefully landed on the arena platform. His gaze was incomparably sharp as he stared at the crowd below. Among the 35 people before him, he had fought against many of them before and knew that they were all extremely powerful characters. He didn't have the confidence to challenge any one of them. Finally, Xiao Du's gaze landed on Qin Wentian. This person was someone the Nine Mystical Palace wanted to capture, but who would have thought that he would disregard the safety of the Emperor Star Academy, choosing to participate in the Heavenly Fate rankings instead. What was even more surprising was that Qin Wentian had once been humiliated by Luo Qianqiu, and only after that did he rise up in anger and defeat Luo Qianqiu. At that time, he, Xiao Du, was already extremely famous in the Nine Mystical Palace. He wasn't someone that Luo Qianxiu could compare to. And now, Qin Wentian, whom he wouldn't even spare a glance at in the past, had actually managed to obtain a position within the top 10. Other than those who had clashed with Qin Wentian, they didn't know what had happened to the others. Xiao Du naturally didn't see Qin Wentian's tyrannical performance. As a heaven's chosen of the Nine Mystical Palace, he was naturally extremely arrogant. At this moment, his eyes gleamed with sharpness, as if he wanted to give it a try. If he defeated Qin Wentian, wouldn't he be able to directly enter the top 10? If he defeated Qin Wentian, then even if he was defeated by others, he wouldn't fall too far. This was an opportunity. Qin Wentian's aura was only at the 8th level of Yuanfu. Even if Qin Wentian's mandate had broken through to the 2nd level, he should still be able to contend against him. Qin Wentian, get the hell up here. Xiao Du stared at Qin Wentian, it was as though a sharp sword had pierced through him. Qin Wentian inclined his head, his demonic eyes sweeping over to Xiao Du in an instant. Xiao Du felt his heart trembling when he saw Qin Wentian's eyes. However, he was also an extraordinary character. How could he allow Qin Wentian's gaze to affect his will to battle? Damn! There were those from the Nine Mystical Palace in the hallway. Never would they have imagined that Xiao Du would challenge Qin Wentian in his first battle. They had personally witnessed what happened in the Vermilion Bird Formation. Although Qin Wentian's cultivation base was only at the 8th level of Yuanfu, he still had the combat prowess to contend for the top 10 rankings. Xiao Du was far from being able to defeat him. Qian Mingyu also arrived with those from the Green Cloud Pavilion. When she saw this scene, she couldn't help but shake her head. This Xiao Du had overestimated his own capabilities. The disparity between the two of them was simply too great. They were simply not on the same level. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he landed on the arena platform. His gaze swept over to Xiao Du as the coldness in his demonic eyes instantly seeped into him. Instantly, Xiao Du felt his entire body turning cold as he howled in agony. Die! Xiao Du howled as his astral souls erupted forth. His silhouette dashed towards Qin Wentian as he blasted out with his palms. It was as though an ancient thunderbolt had descended, directly imprinting itself onto Qin Wentian's chest. However, Qin Wentian's chest seemed to be protected by a terrifying energy, preventing his palm strike from penetrating it. This defense. Xiao Du's countenance stiffened. He felt as though his palm strike had landed on an ancient demonic beast with an incomparably high defense. The defenses of demonic beasts were all exceedingly high. This was especially so for demonic beasts like the Golden Rock Demonic Beast, the Herculean Ox Demonic Beast, or the Golden Demonic Ape. At this moment, the feeling that Qin Wentian gave Xiao Du was as though his attack had landed on the body of a terrifying demonic beast. Inclining his head, Xiao Du saw a pair of cold demonic eyes staring back at him, as a chill seeped into his heart. Pang! A terrifying force slammed into his chest. Xiao Du only felt his ribs shattering as his body was flung out of the arena platform before slamming heavily onto the ground. With a groan of misery, he coughed out a mouthful of fresh blood. When he inclined his head, he only saw that Qin Wentian didn't even bother to glance at him. Qin Wentian had already returned to his original location. Such a scene caused Xiao Du to feel shame in his heart. This was a battle of shame. Xiao Du, ranked 36th on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Old man Tianji waved his hands as a resplendent ranking board floated in the air. The words Heavenly Fate were engraved on it, while the words Xiao Du were engraved at the bottom. Xiao Du, ranked last. Qin Wentian is proficient in strength and defense. Without a second-level mandate, there's no need to fight him. The spectators mused. Qin Wentian should be able to obtain a position within the top 10. He who had stepped into the 8th level of Yuanfu already had such combat prowess. After which, another silhouette stepped onto the arena platform. This time around, he didn't challenge those who were ranked too highly, but rather, he chose to challenge those who were ranked near him. However, the result of the battle was still a loss, and his ranking was fixed at the 35th position. The battles continued on, and as the rankings continued, the silhouettes on the platform grew stronger and stronger. At the very end, even Xian Yan of the Mystic Maiden Palace was defeated, and her ranking was fixed at number 20. Her previous ranking was number 17, which meant that Xian Yan's ranking had actually dropped by 3 places. Next, it was the 19th ranked Peng Zhan who challenged the 17th ranked Ouyang Guangsheng. The result of the battle caused the spectators to be extremely surprised. Ouyang Guangsheng had an absolute advantage in terms of astral souls, and in addition to the fact that he had comprehended a second-level mandate of flames, as well as the power of his bloodline limit, he defeated the berserk Peng Zhan. Ouyang Guangsheng's ranking was temporarily fixed at the 17th position, while Peng Zhan's ranking was fixed at the 19th position. After which, the 18th ranked Yao Jun stepped onto the arena platform. His countenance was extremely unsightly as he stared at the silhouettes below. This time around, Yao Jun had high hopes for the Heavenly Fate rankings, hoping to obtain a position within the top 10. But now, he felt a sense of trepidation in his heart. The top 10 were, Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Qin Zheng, Yunmengyi, Mu Feng, Qin Wentian, and Mo Qincheng. These 10 were all extremely powerful. Even if it was Qin Wentian, Yao Jun had personally witnessed how terrifying he could be. The one who was the weakest was actually Mo Qincheng. As for the 11th to 17th ranks, they were, Wang Ju, Hua Shaoqing, Yan Cheng, Li Yu, the black-robed figure, Leng Hong, and Ouyang Guangsheng. Wang Ju, Hua Shaoqing, Yan Cheng, and Li Yu. Other than Hua Shaoqing, the other 3 were all ranked within the top 10 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings. But now, they were all squeezed out of the top 10. However, this didn't mean that they were weak. As for the black-robed figure and Leng Hong, they were both dark horses. Yao Jun had personally witnessed their battles and knew that they were extremely powerful. As for Ouyang Guangsheng, he had personally witnessed his battle with Peng Zhan earlier. He had no confidence that he would be able to defeat Ouyang Guangsheng. Drawing in a deep breath, Yao Jun's gaze finally landed on the black-robed figure. The strength of the black-robed figure was still a mystery to him, so he could only gamble on this battle. "I'll choose you." Yao Jun stared at the black-robed figure as a terrifying demonic chi gushed forth from him. His palms transformed into a terrifying demonic palm imprint, somewhat similar to Qin Wentian's fiend transformation art. Only, it wasn't as tyrannical as the fiend transformation art. The silhouette of the black-robed figure flickered as he landed on the vermilion bird arena. The devilish chi around him churned unceasingly. It was no longer a secret that this person cultivated the devil arts. Right now, the cultivation base of the black-robed figure was already at the 9th level of Yuanfu. Compared to the first time Qin Wentian met him, he was much stronger. Qin Wentian was also paying close attention to this battle. He had always been curious about the identity of the black-robed figure. Yao Jun's demonic form gave off a sense of terror, while the black-robed figure exuded a tyrannical aura. Both of them were surrounded by a violent current of qi. Howling sounds echoed out as Yao Jun released his astral souls. These were all demonic beast-type astral souls, capable of amplifying his attacks. His speed was extremely fast as he instantly dashed towards the black-robed figure. The black-robed figure didn't evade, he too rushed forwards. Yao Jun's countenance stiffened as a cold smile flickered in his eyes. Die! A terrifying demonic light manifested in his palms as he directly blasted out. The speed of his attack actually increased explosively, instantly slamming into the black-robed figure. This scene caused the countenances of the spectators to freeze. Yao Jun's countenance stiffened as he stared at the black-robed figure with an expression of shock on his face. She, who cultivated the devil arts, was actually a woman. An incomparably violent demonic energy gushed into the body of the black-robed figure, yet the eyes of the black-robed figure were as cold as ice. She acted as though nothing had happened as she blasted out a black-colored palm imprint. The terrifying devil palm imprint contained a terrifying demonic chi as it directly slammed into Yao Jun's head. With a thunderous boom, Yao Jun was instantly killed. A cold light flickered in the eyes of the black-robed figure as she walked down the arena platform, not saying a single word. Earlier, did he convert the demonic chi into his own attack? The spectators were all extremely shocked and they saw that. Yao Jun's attack was extremely terrifying, yet he actually disregarded it completely. Not only that, he actually converted the demonic chi into his own attack. How tyrannical was this? Who was this person exactly? Why did he kill Yao Jun out of anger? The countenances of those from the Sky Demon sect turned ashen. Yao Jun was ranked number 13 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings. Yet now, he had actually fallen, let alone entering the top 10. He didn't even have the chance to touch the top 10. The ranking battle this time around was simply too intense. Chapter 376. The death of Yao Jun caused countless people to be in shock. A terrifying existence ranked number 13 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings had actually died in the hands of a mysterious black-robed figure. At this moment, no one knew who the black-robed person was. They didn't even know if he was a man or a woman. However, since this person cultivated such a powerful demonic art, he was most likely a man. Now that one of the Heavenly Fate rankings had fallen, the next person to replace him would be Ouyang Guangsheng. Currently, there were only 17 names remaining, with Ouyang Guangsheng ranked last. Ouyang Zheng, who was originally ranked in the top 10, was stuck at number 20 on the Heavenly Fate rankings due to his slow improvement in strength. But now, Ouyang Guangsheng is actually ranked in the top 17th. The changes are truly too great. If you don't improve, you are destined to be surpassed by others. Now, Ouyang Guangsheng has become the true leader of this generation of the Ouyang aristocrat clan, officially surpassing Ouyang Zheng. After which, Ouyang Guangsheng challenged the dark horse Leng Hong. The two of them battled against each other and Ouyang Guangsheng defeated Leng Hong. After which, he challenged Li Yu of the Thousand Zhu Alliance, who was originally ranked number 9 on the Heavenly Fate rankings. In the end, he was defeated and Ouyang Guangsheng's ranking was fixed at number 16. Because his ranking didn't advance any further, Leng Hong, who was defeated by him, was in an extremely miserable state. He didn't even have the chance to challenge Qin Wentian, and his ranking was fixed at number 17. Both dark horses had reached the end of their paths. After that, it was the black-robed man's turn. Instantly, many gazes landed on him. Could the black-robed man still advance? The black-robed man stepped onto the vermilion bird stage. His gaze slowly turned around and finally landed on one person, causing everyone's eyes to freeze. You. The voice of the black-robed figure was somewhat hoarse. His finger was actually pointing at Mo Qingcheng. The black-robed figure challenged the number 1 beauty of the Heavenly Fate rankings, Mo Qingcheng. When others faced Mo Qingcheng, they would all show some respect. Because she was too beautiful, no one could bear to trample a flower. This was the first time someone directly challenged Mo Qingcheng. Not only that, it was a black-robed expert who cultivated devil arts. Qin Wentian's countenance stiffened as a look of bewilderment appeared on his face. He had never expected that the black-robed figure would challenge Mo Qingcheng. He still had a good impression of the black-robed expert. The black-robed expert had helped him before, but he didn't understand. Why would he choose Mo Qingcheng? Mo Qingcheng's silhouette flickered as she landed on the arena platform. She was like a celestial maiden descending from the heavens, captivating the hearts of the spectators. Just looking at her was a form of enjoyment. Her body glowed with a mystical light, causing her to be exceptionally dazzling. The black-robed figure didn't say anything more. Devil might gushed forth from her, incomparably terrifying. In the air, the devil might churned unceasingly, causing Qin Wentian to frown. He was somewhat worried for Mo Qingqing. At this moment, Mo Qingqing's hands folded into ancient seals. Her entire body was enveloped by a holy radiance, and as she basked in the radiance, she seemed even more like an immortal from the mortal world. Such a woman shouldn't exist in this world. How beautiful, what a halo of holiness. Not only that, her astral soul is extremely rare, it even has a celestial fairy shadow. This was the first time Mo Qingqing unleashed her strength, and the impact it gave off was immense. It was too beautiful, causing people to be in a trance. In front of her, a 9-colored glazed flame floated, as the silhouettes of 2 astral souls appeared behind her. One was the shadow of a celestial fairy, while the other was the glazed flame. The 2 astral souls stacked on top of each other. That celestial fairy's shadow held the glazed flame, so beautiful that it caused people to be dazzled. This scene caused Qin Wentian to sigh in his heart. It has been a few years since he last met Qingqing. She was still as innocent and beautiful as ever, just like the snow maiden from back then. However, Qin Wentian seemed to have forgotten that right now, she was the heaven's chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall. In front of others, she was unreachable, as pure and holy as a celestial fairy. How could her strength be weak? She had also obtained ancient luck, and was one of the top 10. One of them exuded boundless devil might, while the other was like a celestial fairy. The contrast was intense. The black-robed figure finally made his move. His silhouette lunged out as a terrifying devil palm imprint slammed down, causing rumbling sounds of thunder to ring out in the air as his devil might engulfed this entire space. Mo Qingqing's palms trembled as the 9-colored glazed flame transformed into 9 petals that floated forward. A terrifying heat wave gushed forth, gushing towards the black-robed figure. The terrifying devil might actually retreated slightly, as though it feared the 9-colored flames. Mo Qingqing's movement technique was exquisite, she abruptly dashed forward. The flames arced through the air in a beautiful arc, shooting towards the black-robed figure's face. The black-robed figure placed his palms in front of him and abruptly pressed them together, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. After which, a devil palm imprint blasted out, capable of annihilating everything. Break! Mo Qingqing coldly snorted. The 9-colored flames actually penetrated through the devil palm, continuing towards the black-robed figure's face. This caused the eyes of the black-robed figure to stiffen. His black robes fluttered as the 9-colored flames directly drilled into his robes. Careful! Qin Wentian suddenly felt a sense of unease. His black robes started burning but there was no sign of the black-robed figure. He directly appeared beside Mo Qingqing, clad in a terrifying devil armor. A black-colored devil palm imprint descended from the sky, slamming towards Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing's silhouette flickered as she transformed into a blurry shadow, giving off a blurry feeling, as though she was in the void. The Great Calamity. A cold and hoarse voice filled the air. The figure of the black-robed man also seemed to turn into nothingness, about to disappear without a trace. Such a scene was extremely shocking. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The Vermilion Bird Arena platform trembled violently as the 9-colored flames flew back. The 2 of them collided in a frenzy, and a thunderous sound echoed out as their silhouettes separated. After which, the spectators saw the black-robed figure enveloped in devilish chi. Mo Qingqing was panting slightly, yet the halo of light around her seemed to be able to heal her injuries. An instant later, her aura stabilized, and she was as pure and holy as ever. The black-robed figure inclined his head and stared at the sky. In an instant, devil might gushed forth, causing rumbling sounds to echo out. It was as though numerous ancient devils were standing in the air. The chaotic devil art of the heavenly devil art caused the skies to change color. How tyrannical, what kind of pain would one have to endure to cultivate such a devil art? The hearts of the spectators trembled. For a devil cultivator, the stronger the cultivation art, the more dangerous it would be. In fact, even if one cultivated it smoothly, they would still develop a devilish nature. A heavy expression appeared on Imo Qingqing's face. Both her hands formed ancient seals as a resplendent halo of light enveloped her. Numerous illusory figures appeared, making it impossible to tell which one was the real Imo Qingqing. Boom! The black-robed figure stepped out as devilish lightning descended from the sky. A towering devilish might swept across the entire vermilion bird arena, and with every step the black-robed figure took, his aura grew even more terrifying. Qin Wentian's heart tightened as a cold light flashed in his eyes. No matter who it was, he wouldn't be able to harm Imo Qingqing. The spectators stared intently at the arena platform. This was the most violent battle they had ever witnessed so far. Towering devilish might envelop the skies as the number of Imo Qingqing's illusory figures increased. Rumble. Finally, the black-robed figure unleashed his most terrifying attack. The devilish might of the heavens and earth converged together, slamming downwards. Countless devil palms and terrifying long spears manifested as they smashed downwards. Imo Qingqing let out a shrill cry as the glass flames erupted forth, causing a resplendent glow to appear on the arena platform. Pang! A terrifying sound of collision rang out as the spectators only saw Imo Qingqing and Imo Qingqing's silhouette being flung through the air, while the black-robed figure remained standing in his original position. Imo Qingqing coughed out a mouthful of fresh blood as her countenance turned as pale as paper. She sat cross-legged and swallowed a medicinal pill, allowing the glow of her astral soul to envelop her body, recovering her aura. The black-robed figure stood there unmoving, as drops of fresh blood dripped from his wounds. He was still clad in his black robes. "You've won." Imo Qingqing spoke in a low voice as she stared at the black-robed figure. Only to see that the black-robed figure's countenance was devoid of emotions as he turned and walked down the arena platform. Imo Qingqing also left. However, this battle had left a deep impression on the spectators. Regardless of the black-robed figure or Imo Qingqing, both of them were so powerful. The black-robed figure didn't choose to continue challenging. This time around, she directly replaced Imo Qingqing's position, entering the top 10. Imo Qingqing had lost a battle and was squeezed out of the top 10, becoming ranked number 11. Only 15 people remained. The top 5 were Imo Qingqing, Wang Ju, Hua Shaoqing, Yan Cheng and Li Yu. Li Yu of the Thousand Ju Alliance had no choice but to challenge Yan Cheng. In the end, he was defeated and was ranked number 15 on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Yan Cheng fought against Hua Shaoqing and was defeated. His final ranking was number 14. Hua Shaoqing fought against Wang Ju and was defeated. His final ranking was number 13. Those who challenged those ranked higher than them were actually extremely rare. Now, it was Wang Ju's turn. His ranking was temporarily number 12, and those ranked higher than him were all extremely terrifying characters. The battle between Imo Qingqing and the black-robed figure had already left a deep impression on the spectators. In the end, the black-robed figure defeated Imo Qingqing. Wang Ju didn't have absolute confidence in winning. On the arena platform, Wang Ju's gaze was as sharp as a divine weapon. He swept his gaze over to the remaining 11 contenders. He, Wang Ju, had to step into the top 10. If he wanted to enter the top 10, he had to defeat at least one of them. Chen Wang, Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Qin Zheng, Yunmengyi, Mu Feng, Qin Wentian, and the black-robed figure. Wang Ju was ranked number 6 on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Now, how could he not even step into the top 10? Where would he put his face? Chen Wang, Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen and Emperor Azure were all eliminated by him. Qin Zheng was mysterious and unfathomable, Yunmengyi was similarly mysterious. Mu Feng was originally ranked number 7 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, one rank behind him. However, Mu Feng's proficiency in poison was something Wang Ju wasn't willing to antagonize. Qin Wentian had overwhelming strength and defense, while the black-robed figure had an incomparably tyrannical cultivation art. Since he had to choose one, the person he chose was none other than Qin Wentian. Wang Ju's gaze was like a divine weapon, penetrating through everything, landing on Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian seemed to have sensed Wang Ju's gaze. He inclined his head and stared at Wang Ju. "Come on up," Wang Ju indifferently stated. Qin Wentian stepped out, instantly landing on the arena platform. It seemed like he was still one of the easiest contenders to deal with. Wang Ju had chosen him. "You will be the stepping stone for me to enter the top 10 of the Heavenly Fate rankings. You have no hope at all in this battle." Wang Ju's astral soul erupted forth as a brilliant radiance shone from him. His body was actually clad in a layer of divine armor. This wasn't a divine weapon, but it seemed to be a divine weapon. His palms were also as sharp as a divine weapon. Wang Ju from the Wang clan of the War Continent was as though his entire body was forged from a divine weapon. In that case, both his offense and defense would be extremely terrifying. "The reason why I chose you is because regardless of offense or defense, I will suppress you completely. You won't stand a chance at all." Wang Ju stepped out, as a sharp qi gushed forth, enveloping the entire arena platform. Wang Ju's eyes were filled with a boundless battle intent. He couldn't be defeated, he couldn't afford to be defeated. He had to win this battle, he had the confidence to do so. The eyes of the spectators flickered as they stared at Wang Ju. Maybe, his choice was right. Qin Wentian's strength and defense were unparalleled, but Wang Ju's entire person was akin to a supreme divine weapon. Clad in a set of divine armor, he wouldn't be any weaker than Qin Wentian. Wang Ju wanted to trample on Qin Wentian, entering the top 10 of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Chapter 377. Wang Ju, a heavens chosen from the Wang clan of the War Continent, was originally ranked number 6 on the Heavenly Fate rankings. If he couldn't even enter the top 10 today, how humiliating would that be? The spectators stared at that sharp silhouette, only to see him walking towards Qin Wentian. Every step he took caused the sharpness of the heavens and earth to converge upon him. Astral light revolved around him, and the vermilion bird shadow that hovered behind him let out a shrill cry. He would definitely win this battle. After defeating Qin Wentian, he still needed one more victory before he could enter the top 10. Now, there were still 12 participants remaining, and 2 of them had to be eliminated. The spectators stared at Wang Ju, they could feel his confidence in his victory. His astral souls were all divine weapon astral souls that amplified his attacks. Although he appeared to be advancing slowly, every step he took was filled with an overwhelming might. Once he unleashed an attack, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Would Qin Wentian be able to withstand Wang Ju's attack? At this moment, Wang Ju's entire person seemed to have transformed into a supreme divine weapon. Although Qin Wentian's physique was as terrifying as an ancient demonic beast's, Wang Ju was incomparably sharp. Not only that, the mandate he had comprehended was also a divine weapon astral soul. As long as one was at the Yuanfu realm, regardless of whether one was a human or a demonic beast, there was no defense that couldn't be broken through. However, when facing Wang Ju, Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't be so arrogant as to directly use his body to withstand Wang Ju's attack. Although he casually stepped forward, the feeling he gave off was akin to an ancient pine tree that wouldn't fall, or a towering mountain. An intense light radiated from Wang Ju. His entire person was like a divine weapon, piercing towards Qin Wentian with an indomitable might. At this instant, Qin Wentian finally stepped out. With just a single step, the might of the heavens and earth congregated around him, as though he was one with the heavens and earth. This simple action of his was akin to borrowing the power of the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian only felt Wang Ju's eyes fixated on him, as a beam of light shot out. "You won't be able to block me." As soon as Wang Ju finished speaking, a bright light shone. At the same time, Qin Wentian's palm also blasted out. Strength. Although Wang Ju could suppress him in both strength and defense, then he would just have to compete purely in terms of strength and the strength of his martial will. On the arena platform, a resplendent beam of white light pierced the eyes of the spectators. When they regained their vision, they saw that Qin Wentian was still standing there unmoving, while Wang Ju retreated to the edge of the arena platform. Blood flowed from the corners of his mouth, and his countenance was pale. "How can your attack suppress me?" Qin Wentian slowly stepped out, moving towards Wang Ju. Yet with every step he took, he gave off a feeling that his movements were as natural as the heavens. Wang Ju paled when he saw Qin Wentian nearing him. That clash earlier had shattered his confidence. Wang Ju saw that Qin Wentian was getting closer, yet he didn't know how to deal with it. He had always been proud of his strongest attacks, but now that his attack was being suppressed, how could he deal with Qin Wentian? Step by step, Qin Wentian's demonic qi surged. That devilishly handsome countenance of his gave off a sense of helplessness. With a flick of his palm, 18 spears appeared before Wang Ju. He coughed out a mouthful of blood as the spears buzzed, as though they had come to life. A fearsome mandate was infused into them, as they buzzed incessantly, as though they wanted to tear apart the heavens and earth. Bzzz, golden light flashed as a pair of golden rock wings appeared behind Qin Wentian, exuding a sense of sharpness. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he vanished from sight. Wang Ju's countenance drastically changed as he coughed out another mouthful of blood. He punched out with his palms, as the 18 spears exploded forth. However, at the same time, a beam of golden light streaked through the spears, emitting a terrifying sound. In just an instant, Wang Ju discovered that Qin Wentian had already appeared before him. A dragon imprint slammed down, akin to the roar of a true dragon, causing the heavens and earth to tremble unceasingly. An expression of panic appeared on Wang Ju's face. He gathered his strength, transforming his palms into divine weapons as he frenziedly retaliated. However, as the roar of the dragon rang out, its might shook the heavens and earth. Rumbled terrifying sound waves engulfed the area as Wang Ju's body was instantly blasted to the point where he spat out a mouthful of blood. Qin Wentian stood calmly on the Vermilion Bird Arena platform, exuding boundless demonic qi. The crowd stared at his silhouette, their eyes filled with shock. That devilishly handsome face of his gave off an unfathomable feeling. Just a casual glance at him would cause the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Right now, Qin Wentian's mandate of demons had reached the second level, the third level of the fiend transformation art. With a single thought, he could form a pair of demonic wings, with a single thought, he could transform into a demon. Not only that, this transformation wasn't like the demonic divinity sacrificial transformation art, it was reversible. Naturally, Qin Wentian's attacks were even more terrifying than before. Back then, he could execute the 81 demonic innate techniques as he pleased. Wang Ju, rank 12, Old Man Tianji slowly announced, causing the gazes of the spectators to turn to the ranking board floating in the air. Wang Ju's name landed beside the rank 12. Once, he was ranked 6th on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Now, he was ranked 12th. Although this was somewhat ironic, one could imagine how terrifying the Heavenly Fate rankings this time around were. Wang Ju, who was ranked 6th, couldn't even step into the top 10. Since Wang Ju was defeated, it was now Mo Qingqing's turn. Because she was defeated by the black-robed figure, she was temporarily ranked 11th. Since the top 10 didn't have a ranking yet, if she wanted to enter again, she would have to defeat one of the top 10 before she could enter the top 10. However, how difficult would it be? Chen Wang, Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Qin Zheng, Yun Mengyi, Mu Feng, Qin Wentian, and the black-robed figure. Initially, the spectators thought that Qin Wentian would be easier to deal with. However, Wang Ju was completely crushed by Qin Wentian, causing the spectators to re-evaluate the combat prowess of the top 10. There were no weaklings among them, and none of them were able to determine their final rankings. All of them were too terrifying. Since you have ancient luck, if I were to let you fight against one of them, you would definitely be unsatisfied. In that case, I will give you a chance to be ranked the same as them. At this moment, Old Man Tianji suddenly spoke, causing expressions of shock to appear on the faces of the spectators. After which, they nodded their heads lightly. At this moment, the remaining 11 were the true elites of the Heavenly Dipper tournament. If Mo Qingqing were to challenge any one of the top 10, there was a possibility that she would make a mistake. Old Man Tianji might have given Mo Qingqing a chance on account of her great luck, hence, he decided to give her a chance. This might be unfair to Wang Ju and the others, but who would dare to doubt that Old Man Tianji was willing to give Mo Qingqing a chance? Now, the remaining 11 would be fighting for the final rankings. Next, I will announce the battles. The 10 of you will fight against each other 50-50. Chen Wang was ranked second in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, so he will be exempted from this round. For this round, the 5 victors will join Chen Wang in the top 6, while the 5 losers will be temporarily placed in the bottom 5. However, the bottom 5 will still have a chance to challenge the top 6. If they win, they will replace the top 6, and if they lose, they will have no choice but to fight for a spot higher than the 6th rank. Old Man Tianji stared at the crowd as he spoke. Everyone could accept the fact that he would allow Chen Wang to be exempted from this round. Chen Wang was the one who was favored the most. After all, he was originally ranked second in the Heavenly Fate rankings, with the exception of Hua Taishu. Shi Patian against Qin Zheng, Si Qiong against Mu Feng, Zhan Chen against Yun Mengyi, Emperor Azure against the black-robed figure, Qin Wentian against Mo Qingqing. Old Man Tianji's announcement caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Every single one of the battles was so powerful that it could stir the hearts of the spectators. However, it seemed that Old Man Tianji had put a lot of thought into this arrangement. Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, and the others were favored. They didn't have to fight against each other, but as for why he arranged for Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing to be in the same group, it caused many to be puzzled. Maybe it was a random choice by Old Man Tianji, and there wasn't any deeper meaning behind it. The first battle, Shi Patian against Qin Zheng. The first battle was a battle between heavyweights. Qin Zheng had fought against Chen Wang before in the Vermilion Bird Formation grounds. Not only that, he wasn't completely suppressed by Chen Wang. He was extremely powerful, and was able to control the will of the mandate of space. Arranging for Shi Patian to be in the same group as him, one couldn't help but say that this would definitely be an extremely fascinating battle. Those from the Shi clan all had the bloodline of an ancient demonic beast in their veins, making them incomparably tyrannical. Shi Patian stood on the Vermilion Bird arena, exuding a tyrannical aura. Chen Wang, Shi Patian, and Si Qiong were the top 3 contenders for the ranking battle this time around. All of them were extremely powerful. Qin Zheng stood on the Vermilion Bird arena platform, yet he exuded a carefree aura. His demeanor had always been like this, extremely casual. Boom! Shi Patian took the initiative to attack. The ancient demonic beast bloodline in his veins erupted forth, and in an instant, a golden dragon-shaped armor covered his body, incomparably majestic. A golden long spear appeared in his hands. Pang! Shi Patian pierced out with his spear, causing the roars of dragons to shake the heavens. It was as though a golden demonic dragon was roaring. This is the ultimate art of Grand Xia that the Shi clan has mastered. Out of the 9 ultimate arts, the Golden Dragon battle art is the only one that's suitable for demonic cultivators to cultivate. This is the Golden Dragon battle art. The might of this battle art is boundless, with terrifying attacks and a golden dragon-shaped armor for defense. The members of the Shi clan all possess the bloodline of ancient demonic beasts, making them the most suitable to cultivate this art. This Shi Patian has clearly immersed himself in this art for many years. This spear strike caused the roars of dragons to reverberate through the heavens. The spectators instantly understood that this was an ultimate art of Grand Xia, one that had been passed down to the Shi clan all this time, just like the Great Solar Universe art of the Great Solar Qin clan. Qin Zheng was most probably in danger. The two of them engaged in a frenzied battle on the Vermilion Bird Arena platform. Qin Zheng's spatial laceration attacks were also extremely terrifying. He was actually able to slash apart the golden dragon-shaped armor and injure Sherpatian. Not only that, Qin Zheng's speed was also extremely fast, and his dodging abilities were also extremely strong. If it wasn't for Sherpatian's terrifying strength, he would have long been defeated. But even when fighting against Sherpatian, Qin Zheng wasn't suppressed at all. Fascinating, such a battle is simply too fascinating. Not only that, none of the following battles would disappoint the spectators. This is what a true pinnacle battle should be like. The spectators exclaimed in admiration when they saw the battle between the two of them. This was too fascinating. Since Sherpatian was so powerful, how could Chen Wang be weak as well? The final battle, the battle for the top 3 positions, how magnificent would it be? How much anticipation! Chapter 378. Sherpatian fought against Qin Zheng with an earth-shattering might. Sherpatian's attacks were ferocious and tyrannical, while Qin Zheng was proficient in many different innate techniques. Not only that, he was able to unleash them perfectly. Although Qin Zheng's attacks were weaker than Sherpatian's, he still wasn't defeated. Finally, at the instant the two of them came into contact with each other, astral energy abruptly erupted. Terrifying astral soul shackles materialized around Qin Zheng's body, instantly coiling around Sherpatian's body, as though wanting to bind a dragon. Qin Zheng's body erupted with a powerful spatial light as a gust of wind swept past, manifesting a resplendent dimensional void sword in the air. Slash! Qin Zheng coldly roared. In that instant, it felt as though space itself was about to be sliced apart. The gazes of the crowd turned to Sherpatian, wondering if he would be able to withstand this attack. Sherpatian's eyes gleamed with a terrifying sharpness. He didn't evade, it was as though he was waiting for that attack to land. Bzzz. Abruptly, Qin Zheng's attack landed, but Sherpatian's silhouette had already vanished into thin air. After which, Qin Zheng's countenance drastically changed. Wind energy enveloped him as he retreated with extreme speed. Pang! A terrifying force slammed into Qin Zheng, sending him flying through the air. While he was still in the air, he coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood. Stabilizing himself, Qin Zheng stared at the arena platform. His aura fluctuated wildly as blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. There was no anger in his eyes, no shame of defeat, only calmness. Earlier, was that the ultimate art of Grand Xia you exchanged for? Sherpatian stood on the arena platform, staring at Qin Zheng as he calmly replied, "You should be proud of yourself for being able to fight to such an extent. Given your strength, you still have a chance to enter the top 6. As for that attack earlier, it was the only ultimate movement technique of Grand Xia. Not only that, it only has a single stance, stellar transposition." Indeed, stellar transposition. No wonder. The hearts of the crowd trembled. Other than the Golden Dragon battle art, Sherpatian had also comprehended stellar transposition. How terrifying would his combat prowess be now? Although the stellar transposition was only a single move, it was able to instantly change one's position. This move required a terrifying amount of astral energy to be able to be unleashed. Although Sherpatian seemed to have gone berserk, he was actually extremely cautious. He had been guarding against Qin Zheng all this while, which was why he chose to unleash the stellar transposition at the most crucial moment. In a battle of life and death, such a movement technique could sometimes save one's life. Sometimes, it could even reverse the situation and kill the opponent. Although Sherpatian seemed to be stronger than Qin Zheng had many tricks up his sleeves, forcing Sherpatian to use revolving star passage to win. In this case, Shi Potion's ranking was temporarily in the top 6, and Qin Zheng's ranking was temporarily in the bottom 5. However, with Qin Zheng's strength, he still had a chance to enter the top 6. Next, the second battle was between Si Qiong and Mu Feng. The instant the two of them stepped onto the arena platform, the hearts of the spectators that had just calmed down were once again filled with excitement. Si Qiong was the strongest dark horse in the heavenly fate rankings, while Mu Feng's temperament had undergone a drastic change. How intense would their battle be? Do you think you can escape by refusing the deal? Si Qiong stared at Mu Feng as a cold light flashed in his eyes. A powerful might gushed forth from him as he lunged towards Mu Feng. What Si Qiong was referring to was naturally Mu Feng's refusal to exchange the secret arts of Grand Xia for the 9 ultimate arts. Other than the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia, the secret arts of Grand Xia were all extraordinary as well. They had always wanted to obtain them, but who would have thought that the vermilion bird formation of Grand Xia would obstruct them? Not only that, their supreme experts didn't dare to destroy the vermilion bird formation so easily. If the vermilion bird formation destroyed everything within it, everything would become nothing. However, the power he was in was extremely patient. So what if it took a few thousand years? To some of the elders, they could still afford to wait. Now that the constellation fate of Grand Xia had changed, the power he was in sent here to Grand Xia. How could they possibly fail? Just like what the supreme experts had predicted, after the constellation fate of Grand Xia changed, the ranking battle for the heavenly fate rankings had also changed. The ancient luck of the vermilion bird formation had appeared, but the formation was destroyed. Since that was the case, he naturally had to obey the order to obtain the secret arts of Grand Xia. How naive were these people to think that they could stay behind? Si Qiong clearly didn't put Mu Feng in his eyes. In his eyes, Mu Feng and the others had no hope of escaping. Nobody would be able to stop them. These people were simply courting death. Mu Feng's countenance was calm as he stared at Si Qiong. Boom! The will of the mandate of blood erupted forth, causing Si Qiong to feel the blood in his body trembling. He coldly laughed as a resplendent light radiated from him, as a terrifying heat emanated from him, akin to the Great Solar Universe art. That's the Great Solar Universe art. The spectators were all stunned when they saw this scene. Si Qiong was also proficient in the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia. A golden ancient sword appeared in Si Qiong's hands. Stepping out, he slashed out with his sword, causing it to descend from the heavens. It was as though the heavenly sword had blossomed, blazing flames burning the heavens. Heavenly swordplay, Great Solar Universe art. Old Man Tianji and the rest felt their hearts trembling when they saw this scene. Although they knew that these people had obtained the complete 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia, they still couldn't help but sigh in their hearts when they saw how easily Si Qiong could unleash the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia. Mu Feng's silhouette flickered as he waved his palms. Instantly, a pitch-black poisonous palm imprint blasted out, exuding a terrifying and sinister aura. Sizzling sounds rang out as the palm imprint was instantly torn apart. Si Qiong's palms trembled as the terrifying heat of the sun incinerated the poisonous palm imprint. His silhouette was like the wind as he continued chasing after Mu Feng, slashing out with his sword once more. A resplendent light flashed as Mu Feng was forced to retreat repeatedly. If it wasn't for the fact that he was proficient in the mandate of wind, it would have been extremely difficult for him to evade the might of the heavenly swordplay. Si Qiong's silhouette landed on the ground. His lips trembled as a voice drifted out, resembling a melody. The melody transformed into terrifying runes, transforming into a formless energy that drilled into Mu Feng's eardrums. Mu Feng furrowed his brows as he felt a splitting headache, as though even his soul was trembling. Si Qiong stepped out step by step, the melody continued to corrode Mu Feng's body. Mu Feng's long hair fluttered in the wind as he stared at Si Qiong, only to see Si Qiong's silhouette flickering as he slashed out with his sword once more. Mu Feng retreated once more. Swish! A beam of blood splattered onto the arena platform, forcing Mu Feng into a corner. The melody continued as Si Qiong walked towards him step by step. A soul attack technique, the hearts of many in the crowd pounded. This Si Qiong was too terrifying. They suddenly realized that Chen Wang wasn't the most terrifying existence in the heavenly fate rankings. Not only did Si Qiong specialize in the ultimate arts of Grand Xia, he also had such a terrifying soul attack technique. The soul was an illusory existence. Yuanfu realm cultivators wouldn't even be able to sense the existence of a soul. However, Si Qiong had a terrifying talent related to the soul, which was why he was able to cultivate soul attacks. At this instant, Si Qiong's silhouette vanished as an intense astral light erupted forth. Stellar transposition. Si Qiong's silhouette instantly appeared in front of Mu Feng, his palms directly grabbing onto Mu Feng's head. His lips trembled unceasingly as the melody drifted into Mu Feng's ears. This scene caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble violently. How powerful, this dark horse Si Qiong was simply too terrifying. What was he doing? Soul search. It's rumored that there are people who are proficient in soul manipulation techniques that can search the soul of others. Si Qiong is searching Mu Feng's soul. For those whose souls are searched, there's a possibility that they would become a retard, a cripple. The countenances of Qin Wentian and the rest all flickered with a cold light when they saw this scene. They understood what Si Qiong wanted to do. He, Mu Feng, Mo Qingcheng, Yunmengyi and Qin Zheng had all rejected those people. Was Si Qiong planning to deal with them like this? Not only that, Si Qiong's strength was truly terrifying. Qin Wentian stared at Mu Feng on the arena platform. Mu Feng's family had been murdered. Could it be that he would die before the culprit was found? If Si Qiong obtained what he wanted, he definitely wouldn't spare Mu Feng. Chi. On the arena platform, Si Qiong's arm abruptly started to corrode. After which, the corrosion frenziedly spread throughout his entire body. Black qi appeared on his face as Si Qiong's countenance abruptly changed. After which, from Mu Feng's body, a terrifying stream of black blood gushed out. Boom! Terrifying astral light flashed as Si Qiong executed stellar transposition once more. His silhouette shifted backwards as he stared at his arm, his countenance turning ashen. Mu Feng opened his eyes, only to feel an intense pain in his head. He coldly glanced at Si Qiong before turning and stepping down the arena platform. Although he was heavily injured, he was still as calm as ever. So calm that it was terrifying to look at. Nobody could stand so close to Mu Feng, not even Si Qiong. His silhouette was like the wind as he instantly descended the arena platform and sat down cross-legged. Rays of resplendent light enveloped his body as he began to expel the poison from his body. Evidently, he didn't have it easy in the earlier battle. The victor of this battle was naturally Si Qiong. He was ranked within the top 6, and his strength had left a deep impression on the spectators. And as for Mu Feng, although he was defeated, he also left a deep impression on the spectators. The third battle, Zhan Chen against Yunmengyi. The instant Zhan Chen stepped onto the arena platform, his eyes flickered with a terrifying self-confidence. His gaze flickered with a golden light as he stared at Yunmengyi. What's your relationship with Qin Wentian? He still remembered back then when he chased after Qin Wentian, Yunmengyi and the black-robed figure had interfered. It has nothing to do with you. Yunmengyi calmly replied. A sharp astral sword appeared in her palms as a terrifying frost intent gushed forth from her. I won't kill you. Zhan Chen stared at Yunmengyi as he stepped out. I know the heavenly swordplay as well. As the sound of his voice faded, a golden sword appeared in his palms. With a flick of his palm, the golden sword seemed to be borrowing the light of the heavens and earth, incomparably dazzling. Rays of golden light enveloped Zhan Chen's body, transforming into an indestructible golden body. His silhouette flickered as he dashed towards Yunmengyi. In Zhan Chen's eyes, a resplendent light erupted forth. That was a golden blade, piercing towards Yunmengyi. Instantly, Yunmengyi felt a piercing pain in her eyes. It was as though there was a golden silhouette in her opponent's eyes, wielding a sharp sword, punishing her. Yunmengyi slammed out with her palms as a terrifying frost energy froze everything in its path. She didn't retreat, on the contrary, she took a step forward as the heavenly swordplay descended. 9 swords intertwined, the might contained within was incomparably terrifying. Zhan Chen was still staring at her. Yunmengyi's forehead was drenched in cold sweat, but her sword wouldn't show any mercy. Puchi. The sword slashed downwards, slamming into Zhan Chen's body. The golden body seemed to have split apart, yet the spectators discovered that Zhan Chen was fine. The golden body seemed to be an illusion. His sword similarly slashed out as a cold and sharp smile flickered in his eyes. Blood splattered, dyeing Yunmengyi's robes red. Yunmengyi's body was flung through the air. Qin Wentian waved his palms as a surge of energy enveloped Yunmengyi's body, allowing her to land on the ground. Inclining his head, Qin Wentian stared at Zhan Chen, who was standing on the arena platform. Zhan Chen walked to the edge of the platform, and was similarly staring at him. Zhan Chen's sword was pointed straight at Qin Wentian. The smile in his golden eyes was filled with demonic self-confidence. Chapter 379. How is this possible? Earlier, Yunmengyi's sword strike had clearly landed on Zhan Chen's body, even shattering his golden body. How could he be unharmed? The battle between Zhan Chen and Yunmengyi ended in the blink of an eye. Even after Yunmengyi was injured, the spectators still couldn't understand how Zhan Chen was able to defeat Yunmengyi unscathed. This Pill Emperor, who was ranked number 11 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, gave off an unfathomable feeling. Even Wang Ju, who was ranked number 6, was eliminated so easily, yet this Pill Emperor had temporarily stepped into the top 6. Zhan Chen was also a powerful dark horse, and he was extremely terrifying. This ranking battle was getting more and more unfathomable to the spectators. Right now, each and every contender was so strong that it was unfathomable. Gradually, they revealed their true strength, revealing their sinister countenances. Nobody knew what their trump cards were, even up until now. Qin Wentian stared at Zhan Chen. He could clearly feel the killing intent Zhan Chen had towards him. The grudge between the two of them had never been resolved, and not only that, back then, Qin Wentian had revealed Zhan Chen's scandal, causing Imo Qingqing to despise him. One could very well imagine how deep Zhan Chen's hatred for Qin Wentian was. Today, on the Heavenly Fate rankings, Zhan Chen wanted to let those from the Pill Emperor Hall see, let Imo Qingqing see, how he tortured and killed Qin Wentian. Today, in the ranking battle, his name would resound throughout Grand Xia. Turning, Zhan Chen's silhouette flickered as he walked down the platform. Zhan Chen was temporarily ranked in the top 6, while Yunmengyi was ranked in the bottom 5. The next battle was between Emperor Azure and the black-robed figure. Emperor Azure was ranked number 5 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings. Today, he was ranked number 3 among the top 5 contenders. The other two were Chen Wang and Shirpatian. This person, Emperor Azure, had always been extremely mysterious. No one had ever heard of which clan or power he came from. He was the most low-profile ranker in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, and this time around, he was still as low-profile as ever. However, no one dared to ignore his existence. As for the black-robed figure, he was similarly mysterious. Nobody knew where he came from, not even his real name, or whether he was a man or a woman. Naturally, everyone was looking forward to the duel between the two. The two of them stood on the arena platform as the silhouette of the vermilion bird let out a low roar. Emperor Azure had a smile on his face, exuding a carefree aura. He stared at the black-robed figure as he stated, "Since you're participating in the Heavenly Fate rankings, why don't you show us your true face?" The black-robed man ignored Emperor Azure. He stared at him as a devilish might gushed forth from him. Today, I shall experience your demonic arts. Emperor Azure stepped out as his silhouette transformed into a series of afterimages. Abruptly, several incarnations of Emperor Azure appeared on the arena platform, all of them blurry and indistinct. It was as though there were many incarnations of Emperor Azure, and each of them wielded a sharp sword in their hands. Emperor Azure's Phantom Sword Art. His mandate of illusions is terrifying to the extreme. When he uses the Phantom Sword Art, who would be able to differentiate reality from illusion? Emperor Azure's swordsmanship was astonishing. With a single strike, the illusory figures all erupted with a terrifying sword might as they shot towards the black-robed figure. Devilish chi coalesced around the black-robed figure as he brandished a long spear in his hands. His palms trembled as he executed a tyrannical spear technique, suppressing the incoming sword lights. However, Emperor Azure's swordsmanship was superior in terms of quantity. The illusory figures also transformed into a sword as they slashed towards the throat of the black-robed figure. The black-robed man was clad in an armor of the devil path. Terrifying devil might converged above his head as a fearsome pressure permeated the air. After that, he blasted out with his palm as a chaotic devil might swept through everything, causing all the illusory figures to explode. The black-robed figure didn't even bother to differentiate reality from illusion. He only focused on using his tyrannical attacks to destroy them all. However, how could Emperor Azure be so easy to deal with? His silhouette soared up into the skies. In the eyes of the black-robed figure, it was unknown how many Azure Emperors appeared. They borrowed the astral light of the heavens and earth as their swords shimmered resplendently. Is this the heavenly swordplay? Emperor Azure cultivated the heavenly swordplay. However, it doesn't seem like it. He isn't as pure as Yunmengyi. The spectators only saw the heavenly swordplay appearing as the black-robed figure inclined his head. Devilish lightning crackled as a terrifying devilish might permeated the air, crushing everything. His black robes fluttered in the wind as he stepped out, exuding an incomparably terrifying aura. The spectators only saw terrifying devilish long spears appearing before the black-robed figure. As he blasted out, the long spears pierced through the skies, annihilating everything. When the black-robed figure fought, no one could see his will of mandates, nor could they see his astral energy. The only thing they could see was the boundless devilish might he exuded. Emperor Azure's sword slashed downwards as his astral souls appeared. The first astral soul was the sword-type astral soul, while the second was the evil-eyed astral soul. His eyes turned demonic as he stared at the black-robed figure. Sword light flashed once more, but in an instant, a silhouette abruptly appeared beside the black-robed figure, slashing out with a sword. Is that stellar transposition? Astonishment and shock appeared on the faces of the spectators. How could Emperor Azure know so many ultimate arts of Grand Xiao? He wasn't someone from the 7 ancient clans of Grand Xiao. Or more accurately, that wasn't the heavenly swordplay or stellar transposition. Puchi, a light sound rang out as the robes of the black-robed figure were dyed red with blood. He retreated as he coldly stared at Emperor Azure. At this moment, Emperor Azure's demonic eyes grew increasingly demonic, becoming exceedingly terrifying. His third astral soul from the 5th heavenly layer appeared, the blood-winged devil ape. Ranked number 2 in the War Beast Index, the blood-winged devil ape. Expressions of shock appeared on the faces of the spectators. The mysterious Emperor Azure actually possessed such a powerful technique. The eyes of the black-robed figure were as cold as ever, as though he didn't care about the injury on his arm. The chaotic heavenly devil might erupted forth, as the entire arena platform turned black. A terrifying black-colored devil dragon coiled around his body, before transforming into a terrifying devil saber, the heavenly devil saber. The black-robed figure walked towards Emperor Azure step by step. At this moment, the aura emanating from him caused Emperor Azure to feel a trace of fear in his heart. Boom! Demonic chi enveloped Emperor Azure's body, causing it to become incomparably terrifying. A violent aura gushed forth from him. Fiend Transformation Art. Qin Wentian's gaze froze when he saw this scene. Emperor Azure had actually cultivated the Fiend Transformation Art as well. According to the Azure Emperor, the Fiend Transformation Art shouldn't have been passed down to those from the D clan. Why did Emperor Azure cultivate it? Only to see Emperor Azure staring at the black-robed figure with a cold countenance. He had been anticipating this ranking battle for far too long. How could he fail this time around? Boom! Stepping out, Emperor Azure's body was enveloped in a terrifying demonic armor. Every step he took caused the entire arena platform to tremble. However, the expression of the black-robed figure didn't even change. His devil saber whistled through the air, exuding a terrifying devilish might that caused the spectators to tremble. 9 slashes of the purgatory. Some of the transcendent powers had some understanding of the chaotic heavenly devil art. When they saw the devil saber slashing out, they knew that this was the incomparably tyrannical 9 slashes of the purgatory. The black-robed figure slashed out the first saber strike, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. As the saber slashed out, the spectators saw a devilish might sweeping past them, as though a demonic dragon from hell had appeared. Emperor Azure stood on the arena platform, similarly punching out with a terrifying might. His punch transformed into a demonic fist that swept out with terrifying might, shattering the devil saber. However, the devilish might grew even more terrifying. The 9 slashes of the purgatory, each slash stronger than the previous, all the way until a purgatory was formed. The second and third saber slashed out, causing the hearts of the spectators to pound unceasingly. The black-robed figure was incomparably calm, but his aura was already frenziedly circulating. It was unknown how many more saber strikes he could endure. Emperor Azure's entire person transformed into a terrifying blood-winged ape. The palm imprints he blasted out were akin to the chaotic heavenly devil art, shocking the spectators. The two of them frenziedly clashed against each other, using offense against offense. When the fourth saber strike appeared, the heavens and earth changed color, transforming into a world of darkness. The black-robed figure coughed out a mouthful of blood, yet he still managed to slash out with his saber. Roar! A thunderous roar echoed out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The blood-winged ape unleashed his strongest attack, sweeping away everything in its path. The devilish might and demonic chi caused the entire arena platform to turn pitch black. However, within that pitch-black devilish might, the spectators could see a purgatory devil dragon. That devil dragon transformed into a saber, the purgatory devil dragon saber slashed out with the 5th saber strike. A thunderous sound echoed out as the spectators saw Emperor Azure's demonic form plummeting downwards, ruthlessly slamming into the ground. On the arena platform, the devil saber in the black-robed figure's hand vanished as the devilish might he exuded dissipated. The black-robed figure's footsteps were somewhat unsteady as he walked down the platform step by step. The black veil covering his face was also stained with blood. Yet in such a terrifying battle, he had won. He had defeated the 5th-ranked Emperor Azure of the previous Heavenly Fate rankings. How powerful was he? After this battle, the black-robed figure had officially established his position as a supreme expert. There wouldn't be anyone who dared to challenge him anymore. Emperor Azure reverted back to his original form, his eyes filled with a sense of bewilderment. He had been defeated, he had actually been defeated. Why was that purgatory devil saber so terrifying? Was the chaotic art of the heavenly devil truly the most tyrannical ultimate art in Grand Xia? The price to pay for cultivating the chaotic art of the heavenly devil was the greatest, and the danger was also the greatest. Yet, the might of this art was something that everyone could see. Who? The spectators drew in a deep breath, no longer thinking about it. Next, it was time for the 5th and final battle. Qin Wentian against Imo Qincheng. The heavens chosen from the Pill Emperor Hall, the most beautiful maiden on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Even in Grand Xia, there weren't many who could be compared to her. Would Qin Wentian be able to defeat her? The two of them walked up the arena, facing each other. Mo Qingqing's flawless figure was reflected in the eyes of the spectators, causing them to involuntarily sigh in admiration at the wonders of the Creator. She stared at the young man in front of her, as a smile appeared on her face. This smile of hers was so beautiful that it seemed to be able to stun even time itself. Mo Qingqing smiled, as she looked at Qin Wentian. Astonishment appeared on the faces of the spectators, as they couldn't understand. Shouldn't the two of them be engaged in a battle? They then turned to look at Qin Wentian, only to discover that Qin Wentian was smiling as well. It was a gentle smile, as though he was looking at a lover he doted on. You finally reached this step. Mo Qingqing smiled lightly, as she spoke in a gentle voice. Her voice was incomparably gentle, as though she was speaking to the person she loved the most. I've always believed that you would be able to do it. Mo Qingqing's long hair fluttered in the wind. The spectators only saw Qin Wentian slowly walking up to her, placing his hand on her forehead, gently stroking her hair. Mo Qingqing lowered her head slightly, like a shy young lady. She actually allowed Qin Wentian to do this. Stretching out his hands, Qin Wentian held on to Mo Qingqing's hand, right in front of the eyes of the spectators, their hands entwined together. Qin Wentian had said before that he wanted to announce to the world the relationship between him and Mo Qingqing during the ranking battle. She was his woman. Chapter 380. The Vermilion Bird Arena Platform, the location of the Heavenly Fate Rankings. On the arena platform, Qin Wentian's gaze was resolute, while Mo Qingqing's eyes were filled with a smile. This moment was the happiest she had experienced in the past few years. Once, she was a carefree young lady in Chu, pure and innocent. It was only until she met Qin Wentian that she experienced the taste of love. It was both sweet and bitter, and her heart was always filled with longing. Until Hua Xiaoyun arrived in Chu, everything was broken. She was brought to the Pill Emperor Hall, becoming the heavens chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall. She was the center of attention, pursued by countless men, yet she wasn't happy. From the pure and innocent young lady, she became someone who sealed her heart. Until Hua Xiaoyun arrived in Chu, everything was broken. She was brought to the Pill Emperor Hall and became the heavens chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall. Countless people pursued her, yet she wasn't happy at all. From an innocent young girl, she chose to seal her heart. Until Hua Xiaoyun arrived in Chu, everything was broken. She was brought to the Pill Emperor Hall, becoming the heavens chosen of the Pill Emperor Hall. Countless pursuers pursued her, yet she wasn't happy. From an innocent young lady, she became someone who sealed her heart. All these years, although her alchemy skills and strength grew stronger and stronger, she wasn't happy at all. Until she heard the news of Qin Wentian. But what was more painful was the fact that they couldn't be together. At this moment, they stood on the arena platform, facing the world. Qin Wentian held her hand. She didn't feel any shyness, nor did she feel any fear. In her heart, there was only conviction and courage. She, Mo Qingqing, had no regrets. Qin Wentian was also incomparably resolute. He knew that the people of the world looked down on him. When it came to Mo Qingqing's lover, they would only consider Hua Taishu, Zhan Chen, and the others. Today, he wanted to announce to the world that he was Qin Wentian, and Mo Qingqing was his woman. Just like that, the two of them held each other's hands tightly, facing the world and bearing all the consequences. They had no regrets. How could this be? The crowd didn't dare to believe their eyes. How could this be? Mo Qingqing was the most outstanding female in Grand Xia in recent years. Why was she holding hands with Qin Wentian? Why were they together? This seemed to have let down the expectations of the crowd. Wasn't Mo Qingqing supposed to be with Hua Taishu? She and Qin Wentian had known each other for a long time. Not only did they know each other, but they also fell in love with each other. Those from the Pill Emperor Hall stared at the arena platform. Luo He's countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. She had given Mo Qingqing everything, yet Mo Qingqing didn't listen to her. Bai Fei stared at the two of them as she sighed in her heart. Back then when she first met Qin Wentian and Chu, never in her wildest dreams would she have imagined that there would be a day like this. He actually dared to hold Mo Qingqing's hand in front of the entire Grand Xiao. Not only that, it was on the battle platform of the Heavenly Fate rankings. A cold glint flickered in Zhang Chen's eyes, emitting a strong killing intent. There were simply too many people who didn't wish Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing well. They didn't think highly of these two people, or in other words, they didn't think highly of Qin Wentian. Although Qin Wentian was already very outstanding, they couldn't help but feel that it was still insufficient. Those from the White Deer Institute stood together. Bai Lu Yi and Bai Lu Jing stood together. Staring at the two silhouettes of the White Deer Institute, Bai Lu Yi's beautiful eyes flashed with a smile of blessings, yet there were hints of tears in them. He has finally held her hand, standing together in front of the world, Bai Lu Yi murmured. A long time ago, she had heard Qin Wentian telling her about this story. Now that she saw this pair of lovers, she truly wished them the best. They would definitely have a perfect ending. Bai Lu Yi's lips curled into a carefree smile. Although he had been eliminated long ago, he didn't seem to mind it at all. He hugged Bai Lu Yi beside him as Bai Lu Jing lightly patted her shoulder, as though consoling her. Bai Lu Yi inclined her head and glanced at Bai Lu Jing as she giggled, "Brother. I know you have a crush on that brat, but you won't be able to hold on to him. Just let him go." Bai Lu Jing sighed. How could he not know what Bai Lu Yi was thinking? Back then when Bai Lu Yi and Qin Wentian were together, he initially supported Qin Wentian and even felt that Qin Wentian was just lucky. But now that he saw Qin Wentian growing at such a terrifying speed, Bai Lu Jing understood that his sister wouldn't be able to hold on to him. Little Yi, will he be able to enter the top 3? The large-eyed elder from the White Deer Institute asked in a low voice with a smile on his face. Only those who witnessed it personally would understand how difficult it was to obtain the top 3 rankings. Chen Wang, Shi Patian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, the black-robed figure, Qin Zheng, Emperor Azure, Mu Feng, and the others. Which one of them wasn't terrifying? Qin Zheng forcing Shi Patian to such an extent, Mu Feng causing Si Qiong to be poisoned, the black-robed figure and Emperor Azure engaged in a frenzied battle. All of these scenes couldn't be erased from their minds. The ranking battle this time round was simply too terrifying. Naturally. Bai Lu Yi nodded her head, back then in the star-seizing manner, in the secret realm of the divine inscriptions, who would believe in him? Didn't he succeed? Alright, I also hope that he can do it. If not, with him holding the hands of the number 1 beauty of the moon continent, the eyes of the entire world would be able to kill him. The large-eyed elder laughed lightly. That fellow was truly a surprise. Back then, when Di Feng, also known as Emperor Azure, came to the White Deer Institute, who would have thought highly of Qin Wentian? But now, Qin Wentian was already standing on the same platform as Emperor Azure. Not only that, Qin Wentian might even be ahead of Emperor Azure. But earlier, Emperor Azure had been defeated. Countless gazes landed on Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing. Xian Yan, Xian Xian, and Li Shiyu from the Mystic Maiden Palace. Xu Ruanyu from the Moon Continent, Ouyang Guangsheng and Ouyang Xiaolu from the Ouyang aristocrat clan, all of them had different thoughts in their minds. But no matter what the people of the world thought, Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing wouldn't care. Since they had chosen to hold hands on the platform, they had already tossed everything aside and had nothing to fear. I concede. Mo Qingqing gently smiled. She didn't participate in the Heavenly Fate rankings for the sake of ranking. She didn't care whether she was first or last, she didn't care. For this battle, she chose to give up, to pave the way for Qin Wentian. As expected, Mo Qingqing admitted defeat. When the spectators saw the two of them holding hands, they had already guessed that Mo Qingqing would directly grant Qin Wentian his wish, single-handedly pushing him into the top 6 rankings. As the sound of Mo Qingqing's voice faded, the top 6 rankings were revealed. They were Chen Wang, Shirpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, the black-robed figure, and Qin Wentian. However, their positions weren't stable, because those in the bottom 5 rankings might issue a challenge to them. Once they were defeated, their positions would be replaced. The gazes of the spectators shifted onto Qin Wentian. Among the top 5, other than Mo Qingqing, the first person they would challenge would be none other than Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing walked down the platform together, and even after they left, they still stood together. Old Man Tianji announced the conclusion of the battle. Next, it would be time for the challengers. Those in the bottom 5 rankings would still have the opportunity to issue a challenge, but first, they would be given a night of rest. After all, the battle earlier had been extremely intense. Below the platform, the spectators were all exceptionally quiet. In the vast corridor outside, the spectators were all discussing in low voices, as though they were still immersed in the scene of Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing holding hands. They were all thinking that if they were in Qin Wentian's shoes, they wouldn't have wasted their time roaming the world. Early in the morning sun hung high up in the skies, filling the air with vitality. In the vast corridor, the gazes of the spectators were all open as they stared at the silhouettes around the platform. Old Man Tianji opened his eyes, as he spoke to Qin Zheng, you will be the first to issue a challenge. If you win, you will replace him and fight for the top 6 rankings. If you lose, you will fight for the bottom 5 rankings. Qin Zheng nodded his head, as he stepped onto the platform once again. The person he challenged was none other than Zhan Chen. Zhan Chen was evidently taken aback, the first person to be challenged was actually him. Radiating a sharp intent, he stepped onto the platform. After which, the spectators witnessed yet another intense battle. As for the ending, Zhan Chen defeated Qin Zheng. It wasn't that Qin Zheng wasn't strong, it was just that he was the same as Yunmengyi. Qin Zheng's attack had clearly landed on Zhan Chen, yet Zhan Chen seemed to have an indestructible golden body, remaining unscathed. The spectators were already thinking that it was time to re-evaluate Zhan Chen's combat prowess. Next, it was Mu Feng's turn. Mu Feng sat cross-legged, continuing his cultivation. Si Qiong had used a soul attack against him, and soul attacks were the most damaging. I give up, the heavenly fate rankings. Mu Feng closed his eyes as he calmly stated, as though he was speaking of an extremely ordinary matter. Fine, Mu Feng shall be ranked number 11 on the heavenly fate rankings. Old Man Tianji nodded. After which, on the resplendent heavenly fate rankings, Mu Feng's name was engraved onto the number 11 ranking. However, no one dared to underestimate him, nor did they dare to forget his name. Although he was ranked number 11, Mu Feng's name was still engraved in the minds of the spectators. After which, it was Yunmengyi's turn. Glancing at the top 6 rankers, Yunmengyi calmly stated, I give up on the heavenly fate rankings. Yunmengyi knew that there was still a gap between her and Qin Zheng. Since Qin Zheng was about to be eliminated, there was no longer any meaning for her to continue fighting. Yunmengyi, ranked number 10 on the heavenly fate rankings, Old Man Tianji announced. I give up as well, Mo Qingqing replied in a low voice. Mo Qingqing spoke in a low voice. She originally didn't have the will to continue fighting. Next, she only needed to watch Qin Wentian. Mo Qingqing, ranked number 9 on the heavenly fate rankings. After which, only Emperor Azure was left. Emperor Azure once again stepped onto the platform. His gaze wasn't focused on anyone else, but on Qin Wentian. Others might not know of Qin Wentian, but he naturally knew that Qin Wentian was the possessor of the Azure Emperor token. Qin Wentian had snatched away something that belonged to him. Qin Wentian was once again sent into the top 6 rankers of the heavenly fate rankings by Mo Qingqing. It's time for you to step down. The position of number 8 on the heavenly fate rankings is what truly belongs to you. Ultimately, it's useless to rely on a woman. Emperor Azure slowly spoke, as many nodded their heads in agreement. Earlier, Qin Wentian hadn't even fought, yet he was already ranked within the top 6. To the others, this was clearly unfair. After all, both Qin Zheng and Emperor Azure had experienced intense battles in the past. Let's hope that Emperor Azure would be able to blast Qin Wentian out of the arena. Qin Wentian stepped onto the platform, facing Emperor Azure. This would be the first battle between him and Mo Qincheng, and also the first battle between him and the successor of the D clan of the Azure faction. Do you want to step down yourself, or do you want me to personally send you down? Demonic chi gushed forth from Emperor Azure, no longer concealing the fact that he had cultivated the fiend transformation art. Qin Wentian stared at Emperor Azure with his hands clasped behind his back, his eyes calm. 10 breaths of time. If you aren't defeated, I will withdraw from the heavenly fate rankings. Qin Wentian's voice echoed through the air, causing the gazes of the crowd to freeze. Just when everyone thought that Qin Wentian, who had relied on Mo Qincheng to climb up to this point, would be defeated by Emperor Azure, Qin Wentian suddenly announced. He, Qin Wentian, declared to the world that if Emperor Azure wasn't defeated in 10 breaths of time, he would withdraw from the heavenly fate rankings. Was this the arrogance of ignorance, or was it the self-confidence that was carved into his bones? Chapter 381. The battle between Emperor Azure and the black-robed figure was witnessed by the spectators. Emperor Azure's strength was deeply engraved in their hearts. He had cultivated many techniques, and every single one of them was extremely terrifying. Not only that, he was somewhat similar to Qin Wentian, possessing the ability to transform into a demon, allowing him to become incomparably terrifying. If it wasn't for the fact that the black-robed figure had executed one of the most tyrannical arts of the chaotic art of the heavenly devil, the 9 slashes of purgatory, he might not have been able to defeat Emperor Azure. And yet, at this moment, Qin Wentian stood on the arena platform, declaring that he would defeat Emperor Azure within 10 breaths of time. How arrogant was this? Emperor Azure couldn't believe his own eyes when he heard Qin Wentian's words. Defeat him within 10 breaths of time. Because of Mo Qingcheng's admission of defeat, Qin Wentian was able to temporarily enter the top 6. The others were all frantically fighting for the top 6 spots, while he effortlessly entered the top 6. And now, he even dared to say such words to him. If he hadn't heard it with his own ears, he wouldn't have dared to believe it. A demonic light flashed in Emperor Azure's eyes, only to see a pair of tyrannical wings appearing on Qin Wentian's back. 1 breath of time. As the sound of his voice faded, Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished from sight. His silhouette was akin to a true great rock, and with a flash, he appeared before Emperor Azure as he blasted out a palm strike. As this palm descended, the sound of bells rang out. Numerous ancient golden bells appeared out of nowhere, giving off a dong-dong sound that contained a mysterious power. These bell chimes directly rang out in the depths of Emperor Azure's heart, ignoring everything else. Not only that, the bell chimes rang out unceasingly. At this moment, Emperor Azure felt as though numerous gigantic ancient bells were slamming into his heart. Such a feeling wasn't something an outsider could understand. In just an instant, Emperor Azure's back was drenched in sweat. With a howl of rage, his astral souls erupted forth as his entire person transformed into a phantom, transforming into a blood-colored demonic ape as he blasted out with a palm strike. Boom! The bell chimes rang out unceasingly, causing Emperor Azure's heart to palpitate madly, as though it would explode at any moment. With a howl of madness, Qin Wentian's palm imprint blasted out. It was similarly the ape-strike palm imprint, and as it collided with Emperor Azure's palm imprint, a terrifying might erupted forth. Emperor Azure felt the energy transmitted from Qin Wentian's palm imprint seeping into his body, gushing towards his heart. Lifting his left hand, a devil imprint erupted forth from his palm, slamming towards Qin Wentian's face. A battle of strength? Qin Wentian's mandate of force and mandate of demonic beasts simultaneously erupted forth from his palms. Both palms collided with each other, causing the entire arena platform to tremble as a terrifying shockwave swept through the air. Boom! A powerful surge of astral energy erupted forth as Emperor Azure's silhouette vanished. The spectators only saw his silhouette reappearing behind Qin Wentian's back. Qin Wentian didn't even glance at him as he stabbed out with a single finger. The heaven-breaking finger, a single finger capable of severing the heavens. As the finger pierced out, a terrifying black hole of demonic chi appeared in the air, shooting towards Emperor Azure's heart. At the same time, a third eye appeared in the center of Qin Wentian's brows, directly scanning through the air. In that instant, Emperor Azure felt his mind going blank, as though he was in a daze. Die! With a roar, Emperor Azure slashed out with a resplendent sword strike, imbued with the might of the heavenly swordplay. Astonishment and bewilderment could be seen on the faces of the spectators. Why did Emperor Azure's sword strike miss Qin Wentian's body? That sword was so beautiful, so resplendent, but it actually slashed the wrong way. As the heaven-breaking finger descended, the purgatory vermilion bird behind Qin Wentian let out a shrill cry as it dashed towards Emperor Azure's vermilion bird. Although its ancient luck was useless now, the purgatory vermilion bird still didn't want to spare Emperor Azure's condensed vermilion bird. The immense power contained within was so great that it felt as though it wanted to shatter Emperor Azure's heart. Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto the vermilion bird, his silhouette flickered as he appeared in front of Emperor Azure, directly grabbing onto his throat. 10 breaths of time shouldn't be up yet, Qin Wentian calmly spoke as he lifted Emperor Azure's body, walking towards the edge of the arena platform. Countless people inclined their heads, staring at the shocking scene unfolding before them. No one knew what they were thinking in their hearts. The shock these people brought to them today was simply too much. Qin Wentian had heavily injured Emperor Azure within 10 breaths of time. Not only that, he had even used his most tyrannical strength to suppress Emperor Azure, not allowing Emperor Azure to unleash his full strength. In terms of pure strength, Qin Wentian was even more terrifying compared to Emperor Azure. However, Emperor Azure had many techniques up his sleeves, and was proficient in many ultimate arts. Although he wasn't able to unleash much of the power of his ultimate arts, it was still sufficient to shock the world. But sadly, no matter how many techniques he had up his sleeves, all of them were destroyed by that single strike. That terrifying sword strike actually missed. Even at this moment, the spectators still couldn't understand. Given Emperor Azure's strength, how could his attack miss, allowing Qin Wentian's finger strike to strike him? Qin Wentian carried Emperor Azure's body as he walked to the edge of the arena platform. He stood there, staring at the countless silhouettes, as well as those from the transcendent powers. He told the D clan and the White Deer Institute that his name was Qin Wentian. He wasn't worthy of Mo Qincheng. Since he had held her hand on the arena platform, he had already made all the preparations he needed today. You are not worthy. Qin Wentian flung Emperor Azure off the platform. Emperor Azure's countenance paled, he knew what Qin Wentian meant when he said he wasn't worthy. He wasn't worthy of the Azure Emperor's inheritance. The battle between the two of them was a battle for the successor. Emperor Azure, or more accurately, Di Feng, had suffered a crushing defeat. Those from the D clan were naturally mixed in with the crowd. They had clearly seen that Qin Wentian had taken out the Azure Emperor token in the White Deer Institute, and those from the Celestial Lake Palace had also appeared there. How could they not know of Qin Wentian's existence? Those from the White Deer Institute were all filled with emotions when they saw the ending of the battle. There would always be a heavens chosen in every generation. In a short span of a few years, Qin Wentian was able to reverse the situation. Countless people stared at Qin Wentian, who was standing on the arena platform. His purgatory vermilion bird had devoured Emperor Azure's vermilion bird, and was now floating behind him. One man, one demon, they stood on the arena platform. Yesterday, he held Imo Qingqing's hand, announcing to the world their relationship. Was he, Qin Wentian, not worthy? Stepping out, Qin Wentian walked down the platform. At this moment, the top 6 rankings had already been decided. The top 6 rankers were, Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen, the black-robed figure and Qin Wentian. Old man Tianji allowed the spectators to rest for a period of time before he announced, Qin Zheng, battle against Emperor Azure. This battle would determine the 7th and 8th rankers of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Emperor Azure wouldn't allow himself to be defeated. On the arena platform, he frenziedly fought against Qin Zheng, causing the spectators to involuntarily sigh in admiration. Both of them were extremely powerful, and were proficient in many different methods. In the end, Emperor Azure was defeated once again. Ever since the top 11 rankers were decided, Emperor Azure had lost 3 times in a row. The first was to the black-robed figure, the second was to Qin Wentian, and the third was to Qin Zheng. He, Emperor Azure, hadn't even won a single battle. Even someone as powerful as Emperor Azure was defeated in 3 consecutive battles. Such an ending caused the spectators to sigh in their hearts. This was the Heavenly Fate rankings this time around. The previous ranker, Emperor Azure, ranked number 5, had lost all 3 battles. At this moment, Emperor Azure was extremely dispirited. He had no way to accept such a tragic ending. However, reality was cruel. The Heavenly Fate rankings floated in front of Old Man Tianji. Qin Zheng's name was engraved on the 7th position, while Emperor Azure's name was engraved on the 8th position. Only the top 6 rankers had yet to be determined. The remaining 6 were also the strongest among them. Who? Great waves of shock rocked the hearts of the spectators. They didn't dare to believe how terrifying the upcoming battles would be. Chen Wang, who would he face in the first battle? Si Qiong, how strong would his soul assimilation art be? Other than Mu Feng, was there anyone else who could injure him? Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Si Qiong, Zhan Chen. Who was stronger? Had the black-robed figure reached his limit? Would he be able to advance any further? Qin Wentian was a dark horse, would he be the weakest among the remaining 6? Or could he continue to create miracles and step into the top 5? Or even the top 3? Questions and questions filled the hearts of the spectators. They couldn't wait to see the final battles of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Next, each and every one of you will have to fight multiple rounds of battles. The order of the battles will be determined by me. As long as your strength is sufficient, you will all have multiple chances to fight. You won't be eliminated after a single round. Old man Tianji stared at the crowd as he slowly explained. Many of the spectators knew of the rules of the Heavenly Fate rankings. When it came to the last 6 people, they knew that the following battles would be very serious. They would carry out many battles to determine the final rankings. For the first round, Chen Wang against Zhan Chen, Si Qiong against the black-robed figure, Sherpatian against Qin Wentian. As the sound of Old Man Tianji's voice faded, the spectators all nodded their heads in agreement. From their perspective, Chen Wang, Si Qiong and Sherpatian might be stronger than Zhan Chen, Qin Wentian and the black-robed figure. Hence, there was no need for the 2 of them to clash earlier than expected. However, it was unavoidable for the remaining 6 rankers to clash against each other. Regardless of which 2 of them clashed against each other, it would still be considered a battle between the strong. Chen Wang against Zhan Chen. For this battle, Chen Wang had a higher chance of winning. Although Zhan Chen was also very powerful, Chen Wang had the highest chance of obtaining the first rank. Si Qiong against the black-robed man, Si Qiong should be the victor. Si Qiong's combat prowess was strange and powerful, and he even had a soul-devouring art. It was simply too terrifying. Although the black-robed man's devil arts were tyrannical, he was still lacking in maturity. In terms of mastery over the ultimate arts of Grand Xiao, the black-robed figure's mastery over the chaotic art of the art of the art of the art of the chaotic art of the art of the art of the art of the heavenly fate rankings could be said to be one of the stronger contenders. His mastery of the Great Solar Universe art was comparable to Chen Wang's mastery of the Great Solar Universe art. Yet, it was still far from enough. Si Qiong seemed to be proficient in many of the ultimate arts of Grand Xiao. As for the battle between Shirpatian and Qin Wentian, the majority of the spectators still felt that Shirpotian's chances of victory were higher. After all, Shirpatian was still the #1 contender. Before this, the spectators had always thought that he would fight against Chen Wang. But with the appearance of Si Qiong and Zhang Chen, the situation had changed. However, with Shirpotian's strength, he should be able to defeat Qin Wentian, although it would not be easy. Chapter 382. Chen Wang against Zhang Chen. Si Qiong against the black-robed figure. Shirpatian against Qin Wentian. 3 battles, each one filled the hearts of the spectators with boundless anticipation. When Chen Wang and Zhang Chen stood on the arena platform, countless gazes landed on them. Chen Wang had transformed into the mysterious and terrifying Zhang Chen. How terrifying would the two of them be when they clashed? Chen Wang and Zhang Chen stared at each other. The vermilion bird let out a long cry as its aura erupted forth. A terrifying battle intent surged forth from both of them, as though it was about to roar. Chen Wang's entire body was bathed in flames, his bones and blood seemed to have transformed into lava. He resembled a flaming giant, his eyes gleaming with the light of the great sun. Behind him, a great sun Dharma body could be seen. Just a single glance at him was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the spectators. The temperature around him was so terrifying that no one dared to approach him. Zhang Chen's body was enveloped in a layer of golden light. The golden light shone resplendently under the rays of the sun, as though he possessed an indestructible golden body, clashing head-on with Chen Wang's flaming body. No matter how strong you are now, you will lose for sure. Chen Wang stared at Zhang Chen as he calmly stated, "No one can obstruct my path." Zhang Chen's eyes flickered with a terrifying golden light, as though his gaze could kill. In his hands, a golden sword appeared, the sword of punishment. The two of them stepped out, walking towards each other as a towering might gushed forth from Chen Wang's body. On the vermilion bird arena platform, the 2 vermilion bird silhouettes in the air were also engaged in a fierce battle, screeching madly as they clashed against each other. Chi, a beam of sword light slashed through the air. Zhang Chen was the first to make his move. The sword of punishment contained the might of heavenly punishment, capable of cleaving apart everything. His mandate of swords erupted forth, his sword contained the might of punishment, able to end the life and death of his opponent with a single strike. Bang! Chen Wang stepped out, his silhouette directly vanished as astral light erupted forth. This was the ultimate art of Grand Xia, stellar transposition. Stellar transposition was the easiest absolute art to master. It could be mastered in a short period of time, but the more proficient one was in practicing it, the more powerful it would be. All 9 ultimate arts were like this. For example, Chen Wang's Great Solar Universe art, as well as the black-robed figure's chaotic art of the Heavenly Devil. The longer they cultivated it, the more proficient they would be. As for others who had only cultivated it for a short period of time, although they also possessed powerful techniques, the power they could unleash was limited. This was also the reason why Emperor Azure was defeated by the black-robed figure. Emperor Azure seemed to be proficient in all kinds of secret arts, yet he was still defeated by the black-robed figure who only used a single secret art. How could this be? That was because the black-robed man only cultivated the chaotic heavenly devil art. He infused all of his energy into the chaotic heavenly devil art. His chaotic heavenly devil art was tyrannical to the extreme. When the 5th saber of the 9 slaughters of purgatory slashed out, even the heavens and earth turned dark. Naturally, Emperor Azure didn't cultivate many ultimate arts of Grand Xiao. He only cultivated a single one, the Formless Heart Sutra. The Formless Heart Sutra was obtained by one of the 7 great lineages of Grand Xia, the Hua clan. A few years ago, Hua Taishu relied on the Formless Heart Sutra to dominate the heavenly fate rankings. The Formless Heart Sutra was invisible and formless, yet it was capable of simulating innate techniques. Emperor Azure's Formless Heart Sutra couldn't even be compared to Hua Taishu's. After all, he had only cultivated it for a few days. The 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xia were, Great Solar Universe Art, Chaotic Heavenly Devil Art, Heavenly Swordplay, Golden Dragon Battle Art, Stellar Transposition, Formless Heart Sutra, Seal of Life and Death, Blood Curse Imprint and Thunder God / Not everyone could cultivate the 9 ultimate arts. For example, the Great Solar Universe Art was best suited for Fire-type cultivators. As for the Chaotic Heavenly Devil Art, it was exceedingly difficult to cultivate and was also exceedingly dangerous. Hence, there were only a few people who could cultivate it. Although it was the most tyrannical and all-round cultivation art, its single-target attacks weren't as tyrannical as the Thunder God / The Stellar Transposition was the easiest to cultivate. As for the Seal of Life and Death and Blood Curse Imprint, only those with unique talent would be able to successfully cultivate them. The more difficult an ultimate art was, the more effort and price one had to pay, and the more talent one had to pay. But if one could successfully cultivate it, the benefits one could obtain would also be the greatest. Chen Wang chose the Stellar Transposition because he felt that his attacks were already sufficiently powerful. The other ultimate arts might not be suitable for him. The Stellar Transposition allowed him to unleash instantaneous attacks, as well as the ability to evade. In the blink of an eye, Chen Wang appeared before Zhan Chen as a terrifying Great Solar Palm imprint blasted onto Zhan Chen's golden body. The flames of the Great Solar Flame instantly melted Zhan Chen's golden body into a liquid state. The golden liquid started to flow, yet Zhan Chen didn't seem to notice it at all. His eyes were fixated on Chen Wang, wanting to decide the victor of this battle in an instant. Chen Wang was underestimating him, Zhan Chen. A malevolent smile flickered in Chen Wang's eyes as the sound of splashing rang out. That golden body of Zhan Chen had actually been completely melted into a liquid state. At this moment, a silhouette directly flew out, slashing out with a sword as fast as lightning. Chen Wang lifted his arm and made a grabbing motion in the air. The sound of collision rang out, it felt as though his arm was about to be severed. However, his arm had already turned into lava, and he didn't fear pain at all. Chen Wang stared at the sky as a gigantic palm imprint manifested, directly grabbing onto Zhan Chen's body. Bzzz. Another silhouette flew out. Zhan Chen once again transformed into his original form, instantly appearing behind Chen Wang as he slashed out with his sword. As this sword descended, it borrowed the radiance of the heavens and earth, as well as the radiance of the sun and moon. The heavenly sword, heavenly sword, heavenly sword, heavenly sword, heavenly sword, heavenly sword. Pang! A powerful astral light erupted forth. Chen Wang also sensed the danger of this attack. His silhouette vanished from sight, appearing on the other side of the arena platform. Turning his head, Chen Wang stared at Zhan Chen with a puzzled expression. Zhan Chen had an indestructible golden body. Why was it that every time Zhan Chen struck him, he would be able to escape like a cicada shedding its carapace? I really want to see how long you can endure. Chen Wang soared in the air as he released his astral souls. A great solar astral body appeared behind him, exuding an incomparable majesty. His silhouette instantly appeared in front of Zhan Chen as he frenziedly punched out with his great solar fist. The terrifying might of the Great Solar Universe art engulfed everything in its path, while Zhan Chen's sword danced in the air. The two of them clashed violently in the air, causing explosive sounds to echo out unceasingly. The two of them seemed to be indestructible. Zhan Chen was struck at least 10 times, while Chen Wang was slashed 5 times, yet he didn't even frown in the slightest. Too violent. Such a battle caused the hearts of the spectators to tighten. Who would have thought that Zhang Chen would be able to fight against Chen Wang to such an extent? Even if he was defeated, he would still be one of the top 3 contenders. Let's see how long you can last. A voice filled with arrogance rang out as Zhang Chen's golden body shattered once again. The spectators stared at the silhouette of Chen Wang as they sighed. Chen Wang's foundation was indeed deeper than Zhang Chen's. Although Zhang Chen was also very strong, he was still somewhat inferior. Finally, Zhang Chen was suppressed by Chen Wang and was blasted off the arena platform. Drawing in a deep breath, he landed on the ground as his countenance paled. In the end, Chen Wang was still the victor. Chen Wang's strength was evidently higher than Zhang Chen's, but Zhang Chen's abilities were too monstrous. It was as though he was invincible, which was why the battle lasted for so long. If it wasn't Chen Wang, who else would be able to defeat Zhang Chen? The second battle, Si Qiong against the black-robed figure. This was also a battle that caused the spectators to be filled with anticipation. Si Qiong was actually proficient in soul attacks. Other than Mu Feng, who else would be able to injure Si Qiong so severely? Most probably, only Mu Feng's poison would be able to do so. Rumble the moment the black-robed figure stepped onto the arena platform, he had already unleashed his devil might. He knew how tyrannical Si Qiong's strength was, and how terrifying his soul attacks were. Si Qiong's figure was slender as he stood there, exuding an aura of sharpness. Just by standing there, he gave off a sense of immense self-confidence. The chaotic art of the heavenly devil, the 5th saber of the 9 slashes purgatory isn't enough. Si Qiong calmly stated. He had studied the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xiao, and if one could cultivate the chaotic art of the heavenly devil to its peak, it would definitely be extremely terrifying. However, the cultivation base of the black-robed figure was only at the Yuanfu realm, and was far from being able to unleash the full might of the chaotic art of the heavenly devil. The 9th saber of the 9 slashes purgatory gathered the might of the previous 8 saber strikes, causing a demonic dragon to descend from the heavens, capable of shattering the heavens and rending the earth. Rumble the devil might was still as strong as ever. Up in the air, the skies darkened as demonic clouds howled, as though a terrifying demonic dragon was roaring in the skies. A devil's saber appeared in the hands of the black-robed figure, as the demonic dragon fused into the saber light. The black-robed figure advanced forward. For experts who were proficient in soul attacks, they naturally couldn't afford to drag the battle out. If not, their souls would be severely injured, and the consequences would be dire. Si Qiong's lips moved as sound waves gushed forth from his mouth. This was none other than the soul-suppressing melody. The silhouette of the black-robed figure flickered as he slashed out with his first saber strike. The terrifying saber light caused the sound waves to dissipate. His movements didn't pause as he slashed out with his second saber strike. This saber strike was already aimed at Si Qiong's face. Bang! Astral light exploded forth as Si Qiong's silhouette vanished from sight, reappearing directly above the head of the black-robed figure. His stellar transposition seemed to be even faster and more proficient than before. Qi! Si Qiong pointed out with his finger as a terrifying black-colored qi current pierced through the air, landing on the body of the black-robed figure. However, at the same time, the black-robed figure slashed out with his third saber strike. Bang! Astral light exploded forth once more as Si Qiong vanished once again. This time around, he appeared behind the black-robed figure, his lips still moving as he slashed out with his finger once more. The black-robed figure let out a howl of agony, as though he was in extreme agony. His devilish saber spun in reverse as it slashed out horizontally. However, Si Qiong vanished once again. This was the third time he executed stellar transposition, and he executed it consecutively. This caused the spectators to involuntarily sigh in admiration. Si Qiong's stellar transposition was simply too terrifying, and the consumption of astral energy in his body was extremely high. It was just that the speed at which he executed stellar transposition was extremely fast, allowing him to reduce the consumption of astral energy. Hence, for this strike, Si Cheong's 5 fingers struck out, pointing straight at the head of the black-robed figure. Abruptly, the silhouette of the black-robed figure vanished. The black-robed figure vanished without a trace, as though he had never appeared before. At the place where he stood, only a long black robe was left behind. Amichem. Si Cheong furrowed his brows. After which, a hand abruptly stretched out, grabbing hold of his hand. A terrifying wave of underworld energy caused his entire body to feel a bone-piercing chill. Bzzz. A saber slashed out, as Si Cheong's other hand abruptly slashed out. Fresh blood splattered in the air, but the finger that was grabbed by the black-robed figure was still pointing downwards. Finally, the black-robed figure released his grip. Si Cheong explosively retreated, only to see the silhouette of the black-robed figure vanishing from the arena platform as he sat cross-legged on the ground. His soul was injured. The hearts of the spectators involuntarily trembled. The damage to one's soul was extremely terrifying, and the black-robed figure was clearly injured. He had lost to Si Cheong. Si Cheong was too terrifying. There was a high possibility that he would be contending against Chen Wang for the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Chapter 383. Si Cheong's soul attacks definitely didn't lose out to the 9 ultimate arts of Grand Xiao. Yuanfu realm cultivators had no way to sense their own souls, yet Si Cheong was able to do so. However, that earlier strike from the black-robed figure had also left a deep impression on the spectators. It was as though the black-robed figure had vanished into thin air, unleashing a sudden slash that almost caused Si Cheong to die. That earlier strike had also caused Si Cheong to break out in cold sweat. In the battle between Chen Wang and Zhan Chen, as well as the battle between Si Cheong and the black-robed figure, although Chen Wang and Si Cheong had both emerged victorious, they were still able to win by a hair's breadth. From this, one could see the disparity in strength between them. If one dared to underestimate one's opponent, they would definitely die a miserable death. Si Cheong and the black-robed figure both left the platform. The next battle was between Sherpatian and Qin Wentian. In this battle, would the powerful Sherpatian be able to suppress Qin Wentian? Sherpatian from the Sher clan cultivated the Golden Dragon battle art and stellar transposition. It was said that his bloodline contained a unique ability that would be extremely terrifying once used. Sherpatian was ranked number 3 in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings. Now that he was facing a dark horse, how would he fare in defeating him? The dark horse that Sherpatian was facing wasn't an ordinary dark horse. Ever since the first round, he was only at the 7th level of Yuanfu. Back then, he had already obtained first place in the Sounding the Drum Challenge Heavenly Will. At that time, he didn't attract too much attention. At the very most, the spectators only knew of him. After which, he killed Duan Qingshan. After which, he donned the platinum battle robe, striking the hearts of the spectators again and again. However, what truly caused Qin Wentian to be taken seriously was his performance in the vermilion bird formation. When he was being pursued by Chen Wang was the one who suffered a disadvantage, forcing Chen Wang to hide in the cave, and when he came out, he used the most tyrannical method to slaughter Yang Fan, Hua Feng, and the others. Even the powerful Yao Lord was chased away by him with a single sentence. Qin Wentian had a high chance of entering the top 10 of the Heavenly Fate rankings. After that, he held Mo Qingqing's hand on the Heavenly Fate ranking battle platform, telling the world about the relationship between him and Mo Qingqing. And after that, within 10 breaths of time, he defeated Emperor Azure. Time and time again, he had caused the crowd to sigh in admiration. Now, he was fighting for the top 3 positions, and his opponent was Sherpatian. Without a doubt, this would be the strongest challenge Qin Wentian had ever faced since he entered the Heavenly Fate rankings. Back then in the Vermilion Bird formation, he could still escape from Chen Wan. But on the arena platform, he could only fight. Shirpatian and Qin Wentian stood on the platform, facing each other. Qin Wentian, this dark horse, had he reached the end of his path? A golden dragon-shaped battle armor covered Shirpotian's body. The ancient demon blood in his body seemed to be boiling. Shirpatian was like a dragon-shaped ancient demon, wielding a golden spear as he stepped forward. One of the 9 great arts of Grand Xia, the Golden Dragon Battle Art. Shirpatian had always been cultivating this art, and his combat strength was incomparably strong. When he walked towards Qin Wentian, the spectators felt as though Qin Wentian was facing a primordial demon. Qin Wentian's body was clad in demonic armor. Demonic qi gushed forth from him as the blood in his body churned wildly. His palms were filled with boundless strength. Behind him, a pair of demonic wings appeared, flapping gently as a demonic wind ravaged the arena platform. Boom! Shirpatian stepped out as his silhouette vanished from sight. Stellar transposition, the instant he reappeared, he appeared right in front of Qin Wentian. The golden dragon spear stabbed out explosively, akin to a golden dragon brandishing its claws, wanting to penetrate Qin Wentian's head. This strike was as fast as lightning, there was no way for Qin Wentian to react. However, a demonic light flickered in the center of Qin Wentian's brows. His third eye shone with a resplendent light, and at the instant the spear pierced out, he had already locked onto Shirpotian's silhouette. It was impossible for Yuanfu cultivators to achieve true teleportation. The stellar transposition had such a powerful effect because it was able to ignite the astral light in an instant, allowing the user to burst forth with terrifying speed, giving off the impression of teleportation. But if a supreme expert were to spectate such a battle, they would be able to clearly see the trajectory of the stellar transposition. Naturally, the stellar transposition would also increase in power according to the user's strength. Qin Wentian was also able to see the trajectory of stellar transposition. The instant his third eye opened, not even the slightest fluctuation in space could hide from him. This was also the reason why when he was fighting against Emperor Azure, he was able to accurately turn his body around and attack Emperor Azure. Bzzz. A raging wind gusted as his wings flapped. Qin Wentian's silhouette instantly transformed into a series of afterimages. The golden dragon-shaped spear pierced through the air, yet it only managed to hit the afterimage. Qin Wentian was completely unscathed as he faced Shirpatian. Shirpotian's countenance stiffened as he stared at Qin Wentian's slowly flapping wings. The speed at which Qin Wentian flapped his wings was extremely terrifying, not much slower compared to stellar transposition. Ping! Shirpatian took another step forward as his silhouette vanished once more. This time around, his silhouette directly appeared at the side of Qin Wentian. His golden spear was even faster, even more ferocious. With a single stab, the sound of a sonic boom rang out as the spear pierced into Qin Wentian's silhouette, causing it to explode. However, there was no blood. How is this possible? The spectators only saw the afterimages of Qin Wentian appearing on the arena platform. Qin Wentian was still floating there, unscathed. The wings on his back were still flapping as he stared at Shirpatian. He's able to sense stellar transposition, just like when he fought against Emperor Azure. How powerful! The spectators could finally confirm that Qin Wentian's perception was extremely terrifying. He was able to sense the trajectory of stellar transposition, allowing him to evade in advance. Shirpatian naturally understood this as well. He didn't continue using stellar transposition, stepping out step by step as a terrifying aura gushed forth from him. The demonic qi from Qin Wentian towered up into the skies. His arms transformed into the arms of a qilin, thick and powerful. His sharp claws shone with a terrifying light. Ping! Shirpotian's golden spear struck out once more. This time around, he directly attacked Qin Wentian. The golden light from the spear penetrated through everything, it only needed an instant to pierce through Qin Wentian's head. On the tip of the spear, a demonic dragon could be seen baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Strength, I wonder how strong Shirpotion's strength is. Shirpotion was proficient in strength attacks, and was incomparably tyrannical. However, Qin Wentian directly blasted out with his arms. The incomparably ferocious Qilin claws collided with the demonic dragon shadow, causing terrifying sounds of collision to echo out. Sizzling sounds rang out as Qin Wentian was forced backwards. His mandate of force was already at the second level, and so was his mandate of demon. But in terms of strength, he still couldn't compare to Shirpotion. The mandates Qin Wentian had comprehended were, the mandate of demons, the mandate of metal, and the mandate of great earth. All of them contained a terrifying amplification effect, and all of them were at the second level. In fact, some of them had even reached the advanced boundary while Qin Wentian was still stuck at the initial boundary. Just based on pure strength alone, Shirpotion was even stronger than Chen Wang. And it was precisely because of his strength that Shirpotion was considered the strongest contender for the heavenly fate rankings. Qin Wentian's arms trembled slightly. This time around, he could sense many different types of mandates colliding against him. His arms were pierced through by the fiend transformation art, as well as a feeling that his bones were about to shatter. If it wasn't for the fact that his fiend transformation art had already reached the third level, he would definitely have been injured by this attack. In terms of strength, Shirpotion was extremely terrifying. But Qin Wentian discovered that Shirpotion had a weakness, his speed. The reason why Shirpotion chose to use stellar transposition was because he knew that he was lacking in terms of speed. But of course, whether or not his speed was slow depended on who he was fighting against. If he was fighting against ordinary cultivators at the peak of Yuanfu, his speed definitely wouldn't be any slower. Bzzz. A raging wind billowed as a pair of gigantic demonic wings fluttered in the wind. It was as though those wings were a part of Qin Wentian's body. Demonic qi gushed forth, and gradually, a demonic silhouette appeared. Qin Wentian's body was enveloped by a screen of demonic light, resembling a true golden-winged rock. That terrifying demonic light circulated around his body, transforming into the most perfect outline of a great rock. There was a limit to the speed of a human, but if one transformed into a rock, how terrifying would their speed be? And this golden-winged rock, did it have the innate abilities of a human? This was the tyrannical aspect of the fiend transformation art. Qin Wentian was able to perfectly combine the advantages of both humans and demons. The third level of the fiend transformation art, fiend transformation. Qin Wentian transformed into a demonic rock. What a powerful innate technique. The hearts of the spectators trembled. Qin Wentian actually transformed into a demonic rock. The eyes of the defeated Emperor Azure gleamed with sharpness. Qin Wentian's fiend transformation art had actually reached the demonic transformation realm. As a descendant of the D clan, he had suffered crushing defeats in every aspect. A raging wind gusted by. On the arena platform, Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished, instantly reappearing in front of Shirpotion. The bell chimes rang out, the great rock actually blasted out an ancient bell, aiming for Shirpotion's heart. At the same time, a terrifying claw flashed past, slashing towards Shirpotion. Shirpotion's countenance turned grim. His long spear slammed out explosively. Although his movement technique was slow, his attack speed was still extremely fast. However, he still didn't manage to touch Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's figure flickered as another bell chime rang out, piercing his heart. The bell chimes continued unceasingly as the sharp claws slashed towards Shirpotion's back. Shirpotion gave up on the golden dragon spear. Turning back, he blasted out a terrifying ancient heavenly dragon imprint. Instantly, the roar of a dragon resounded through the air, but at the instant he touched Qin Wentian, the great rock was already nothing but an afterimage. Fast, too fast. Qin Wentian was using his speed to break through Shirpotion's advantage in strength. In that short instant, the two of them clashed countless times. On the arena platform, countless silhouettes appeared around Sherpatian. All of them were the silhouettes of the great rock, as well as the sharp claws of the heavenly dragon imprint. Sherpatian had terrifying strength, yet he had nowhere to unleash it. Even under the effect of gravity, he had no way to slow down Qin Wentian's speed. Qin Wentian's mandate of force was also very strong, it was able to contend against his mandate of gravity. The spectators were completely speechless when they saw this scene. Sherpatian had no way to unleash his full strength. Sherpatian was infuriated. His heart pounded madly. If this continued, his heart would be destroyed, and he would die without a doubt. Sherpatian was infuriated. His heart pounded madly. If this continued, his heart would be destroyed, and he would die without a doubt. With a thunderous roar, Sherpatian's bloodline surged to the heavens. The spectators only saw the silhouette of a gigantic primordial demonic beast appearing within Sherpatian's body. Sherpatian's entire body grew taller and taller as he let out a roar of rage. The sound waves from his roar seemed capable of shattering flesh and blood. Sherpatian has completely unleashed the power of his bloodline. The hearts of the spectators trembled. As expected, these people still had trump cards hidden up their sleeves. Sherpatian's gigantic palms directly grabbed towards the air, ignoring the incoming attacks, wanting to tear Qin Wentian apart. However, Qin Wentian's silhouette instantly vanished, and a palm strike landed on his back, yet Sherpatian completely ignored it. The body of an ancient demonic beast was as sturdy as a mountain, indestructible. Too late. The voice of a human rang out from the great rock's mouth. Sherpatian was still frenziedly attacking, while Qin Wentian, who was in the form of a great rock, quietly stood behind him. This bizarre scene once again caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Is Sherpatian trapped in an illusion? Is this the reason why when Qin Wentian was fighting against Emperor Azure's saber slashed at the wrong spot? Sherpatian frenziedly unleashed attacks towards the afterimages in the air. Qin Wentian, who was standing behind him, could sense how terrifying Sherpatian's aura was. His heart shuddered, but everything had already ended. The light around him manifested the silhouettes of numerous great rocks. In an instant, the silhouettes of the great rock formed an incomparably gigantic silhouette, completely enveloping Qin Wentian within. Is that a divine inscription of combat? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.